president during an explosive opening statement in a House deposition.
Tony Bobulinski, a former Navy officer who worked alongside first son Hunter Biden and first brother James Biden on a venture in China, told House investigators his testimony will help prove President Biden is corrupt. The family business partner turned whistleblower said that President Biden was the, quote, brand his family sold to get rich from foreign governments.
It's correspondent Edwin Mora. After the House voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, the next step is a Senate impeachment trial, and that is expected to start later in the month. House Republicans losing a seat to a Democrat. Tom Suozzi won yesterday's special election in New York. The loss leaves the GOP with a razor-thin two-seat majority in the House. Although he supports more aid for Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan, Republican Senator Tom Cotton says he was forced to vote against a $95 billion funding bill because Democrats removed provisions to secure the U.S. border.
We still need to take action to force the hand of a stubborn, recalcitrant president and his party, who's more invested in open borders than they are in securing our border, for that matter, helping our allies overseas.
The Arkansas Republican speaking with the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. The foreign aid bill has now landed in the Republican-led House, which may or may not take it up. Wall Street appears poised to bounce back a day after surprisingly high U.S. inflation data sent stocks sharply lower. Ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures are up 94 points, while the NASDAQ futures are ahead 102 points, and the S&P futures 23 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Retirement Outlook.
If your retirement account is mostly stocks or bonds, listen closely. The future of your savings may be more uncertain than ever before. Hi, I'm Paul Stone, CEO of Colonial Metals. The sad truth is, our government continues to eat away at our freedoms and security. In economic times like these, run around the flagpole by lunatics in Washington, I look to the most trusted store of wealth in human history, physical gold and silver that you own. At Colonial Metals, we specialize in helping folks with IRAs and 401ks and other retirement accounts move their savings into physical gold and silver. If you'd like a free gold investment kit, give us a call today at 820-800-8000. My team is standing by ready to rush a free gold investment kit to you. You may also qualify for $7,500 in free silver and a free safe. Call 820-800-8000 now. That's 820-800-8000.
Colonial Metals is not a financial advisor. Consult with your advisor before investing.
That's 820-800-8000.
North Korea is accused of hacking into the personal emails of an aide to the South Korean president.
The North Korean hacker was reportedly able to access the president's schedule for his state visit in November, as well as emails sent by the president himself. The government aide had been using his personal email account to plan the trip to London, during which President Yoon met King Charles and Queen Camilla, as well as the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. The President's office here has confirmed to us that the hack took place, but it wouldn't detail what information was stolen. It said its security hadn't been breached and blamed the careless actions of one of its employees.
The BBC's Jean McKenzie. A South Korean court has convicted 3 former police officers of destroying internal files and other evidence in an attempted cover-up after a Halloween crowd crush that killed nearly 160 people in the capital, Seoul, back in 2022. News and analysis at townhall.com. Ukraine's military claims victory at sea against Russia.
Ukraine's military has said it has sunk a Russian landing ship in the Black Sea. Although the claim has not been confirmed by Russian forces, Ukraine's general staff said the Caesar Kunikov was hit using naval drones. It also said the ship sank near Alupka, a city on the southern edge of the Crimean Peninsula that Moscow annexed in 2014. The ship can carry 87 crew members. It's the second time in 2 weeks that Ukrainian forces have said they sank a Russian vessel in the Black Sea. I'm Karen Chamas.
Authorities in Houston say they're reviewing how the shooter who opened fire last weekend at a Houston megachurch was able to get the gun used in the attack despite a years-long criminal record as well as a history of mental illness. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here? I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Aww. Are you asking everybody to be your Valentine?
You're all my Valentine.
You should probably get clearance from Kim first, but once that, you get that.
She's number one. She's the one seed.
She's his bottom. I'm not going to say. I can't say it.
She's number one.
That's right. She's the base.
But all of you get a candy heart.
Oh, look at it. Speaking of, the company that makes the candy hearts announced this year they're putting out situationship hearts for people who are in situations that they don't want to necessarily
and
be in a
that's when the
relationship.
fight started.
Basically, it's conversation hearts, but all the messages are blurred out.
Yeah.
Which leads me to believe that right after they hit the factory lines, there's some dude at the end just going licking the messages off and packaging them up.
Have they not learned from anybody like the past? Like Starbucks tried conversational cups, and we all end up want to fight each other after that.
Well, that was different though. That was hey, start a conversation with your barista about racism. That'll be fun. I got to tell you, this happened just a couple of days ago. We were sitting in the parking lot, ironically waiting for the school board meeting, and I was sitting in Carletta's car. Kids were in the back seat, and me and Carletta were talking about something, and I can't remember what it was. But the word racist came up, and out of the back seat, all I hear was my daughter just go, "Racist pieces." And ever since then, it's been stuck in my head. Like, you ever say something just because you want to know what it sounds like? That's what she was doing, but I heard it. I picked up on it, and ever since then, it's been, like, in my head. Racist pieces.
All I can think of is that show, The Middle, and you did that with the... You remember that show, The Middle?
Yeah,
because they had the kid.
The kid's name was Brock.
And he would say under his breath, and that just reminded me of that.
Okay, so Brock has a condition called... it's actually a combination. There's either echolalia or palalalia. I only know because my daughter also has this condition, wherein you say something and then you have to whisper it under your breath to say to process it. It's basically how your brain processes things.
Right.
It's you stopping after you say something and going, "Did I say that right?" And so my daughter does that. Brock does that, but it's to a much, much more like theatrical
over
way.
the top.
Because, like, I've never seen my daughter say something and then go, "Say something." Like, he seemed like the way he does it, it's like demonic.
It's like
almost.
he's got a demonic, yeah, exactly. But that when you did it the way you did, it just brought me right back there. So. But happy Valentine's Day, everybody!
Hopefully, you get all your wishes coming true.
Yeah, and if you forgot and said, "Oh, that today," we'll see you in the car dial.
That's right.
Very soon.
Yeah, you know what? There's been some real big advances in doghouse technology. You can still be comfortable.
This is true. This is true.
You can get Wi-Fi in them things now.
I know they have they get like when I have to spend that much money on a card because it's like got Bluetooth and everything. I'm just like, all right, maybe because let's face it. I mean, yes, sometimes these cards end up in a drawer for 20 years.
Right.
But let's be honest, most of them. Oh, that's cute. They sit on a table for a day or two, and then they get trashed.
Whatever your card says, it could be a silly limerick, it could be a fart joke. That doesn't matter. She's not looking for what the card says on the outside. If you go, XOXO Mike, you lost.
Yeah, you can't do
lost. There's a whole side of the card that is blank. That is for you to write her a novel.
Yeah.
That's for you to, in 2 paragraphs, sum up your entire story.
Which goes back to my point that greeting card writers is the most useless job in all the planet because no one's reading what you wrote because that doesn't count.
That's true.
You're there to determine whether you want a funny card or a romantic card.
Do you remember, and this was admittedly one of the best ad campaigns a greeting card company ever came up with, was back in the 90s. I think it was the 90s, maybe 80s. Hallmark was doing this big thing where the reveal was, oh, look at that. And that's for her to check to see if it's a Hallmark card.
Right.
She goes, hey, look at this sweet card. And meanwhile, she's making sure it's a true Hallmark card.
And if I got yelled at because my card was not Hallmark, there's some big problems in that marriage or a relationship.
Right.
Just saying.
This is how effective that ad campaign was. I used to make my own cards for like mom, dad, Penny or whatever.
Did you put the Hallmark
my sister.
stamp on it?
No. I did one better. So I used to have this little doodle character. I still every now and again will kind of doodle him on like a piece of paper or whatever. Dude, long nose, who was always kind of like my caricature or whatever. So I'd put him on the back with a king's crown, and underneath it I'd write Sean Mark.
Oh, nice.
See, I went fancy with it, but that's how much that ad campaign hit me.
Sean had his own logo before.
That's right.
It was popular to have your own logo.
I drafted my own creations too. I didn't hire out.
Nice.
I didn't bring Fiverr in.
That's right. No. I was a brand before people knew you could be a brand.
That's right.
Well, happy Valentine's Day to all out there. Don't forget to take care of your significant other today on this Valentine's Day. Kim and I, we actually ordered dinner, a fancy dinner last night, and that was we were hungry, and we were kind of like, well, let's just do it now. Forget it. And we did. And so, but we've also been married for 20 plus years.
Right.
So we're not trying to impress each other anymore. We're just
you guys are at high five in the hallway status.
That's right. We're in happy with each other's company stage. We made it. We're now that don't mean we don't try.
Well, sure,
but
you gotta.
We don't have to hop, skip, and a jump because society says we have
you don't have to bend and adhere to an arbitrary day.
Which is the good stuff.
Which is the cheaper option. I will say.
Check this out. Hold on.
Okay.
Every day is Valentine's Day in my world.
Oh God, that cliche. Is it though, Mike? Because what that does is really deaden the mood. It's like, every day we're sitting in his and hers recliners watching some random thing on Paramount.
All joking aside, no, not every day is Valentine's Day, but yes, every day I am very happy with
every day is a chance to make it special and make it special for the people who are special to you.
There you go. And knowing's half the battle.
Right. It is nice that my...
the more you know. Doon, doon.
My Valentine is a 10-year-old girl, so... My daughter, let me clarify. So I get out of it pretty quickly,
and that's when the Netflix documentary started.
I get out of it pretty cheaply with a single flower and a bag of M&Ms. It's funny, too. We've like pieced off our kids because Hunter is Carletta's Valentine, so... she's doing something special for him, and I'm doing something special for Rhiannon.
Nice. And then when they get home from school today, they cut into their candy stash.
Yeah,
Valentine's Day party.
I just hope Carl brings her A game because if I get too big of a bag of M&Ms, then they're going to be fighting over who got more.
That's true.
Hunter's like, I didn't get a flower.
You better coordinate, otherwise the kids will be fighting. So,
there'll be a conference call later. We'll figure this out.
That's right. We'll
get the lawyers involved. We'll figure it all out.
That's right. We'll get the teams together. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. Superintendent of the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck's going to join us here in just a few minutes. Give us the rundown from school board meeting on Monday, which Sean's son was. Let's just say it. He was the star of the show.
He was the only boy. That's the crazy part. Like he was a wash in a sea of young ladies. And he was the base of the group.
He was the testosterone in that sea of femininity.
And it was so funny to watch them one by one, just like we always. It's the same thing. Like when you graduate high school, you walk through, you shake everybody's hand.
Yeah.
They go through the panel, and Hunter walked up to Brian and shook his hand, and all the members of the school board did their thing, and they filed.
Was he nervous or excited? Or?
He was pretty excited. He was nervous right before, which I didn't expect from, because he's the
Is he
showman.
a performer?
Absolutely. If he knows he's got eyeballs on him and he's getting a laugh, he's going to keep pushing as far as he can.
That nervous makes you do it good. That's what that's the performer's heart he's got going on.
I'm just proud of the boy because he didn't slip the word poop in there.
God bless us one and all.
That's right.
In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Don Wells going to join us with the Alzheimer's Association of Southeast New Mexico. Give us an update what they've got going on. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Joan Bouet with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. She actually joined us a little early, and so we're going to play her interview in the 9 o'clock hour talking about their next Chaves County Federated Republican Women 1 week from today, next Wednesday, at the Convention and Civic Center.
Don't get confused when she talks at the beginning about the snow on the ground.
Oh, yeah, there's a...
I heard that. I was like, oh, she dated it.
That's all right. It's all right. Actually, technically, there's a bit of snow in my because of my wooded area. I have a little snow left. Not much.
There's like a hint of it just outside the building, too.
Yeah, there's smidges of it.
That's right.
There. Enough to make a snowball or two.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to play that interview for you here about 9:15. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the newses of the local, national variety, your Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the Four Corners, and that gives us fair conditions today, although we have a low off to the east, so the wind could be a little bit gusty at 20 to 30 miles an hour. We're headed for the upper 60s on the afternoon high, and we get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds passing through, lows 30 to 35, and then a mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday, 65 to 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 33 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 82%. Glasses. Winds currently out of the northwest at 3 miles per hour. Sunny today, warm, mid-60s. 66 our official high today. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight. Expect an overnight low of 30 degrees. Winds out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly sunny for you Thursday. Highs expected to hit 67 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy tomorrow night with an overnight low of 35 degrees. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny, 66 for a high. Northwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then glancing at the weekend, partly cloudy. High of only 46 on Saturday, so a little cooler. And then Sunday will warm back up into the mid-60s, 65 for a high there. And then President's Day and Tuesday of next week, we're going to be in the mid to upper 70s for the work week next week there and the holiday. So, but that one day on Saturday where it drops down to the mid 40s. So we'll see. All right, 7:18, real quick before we take a break. Today being Valentine's Day, and if you have not made plans yet, Dairy Queen on North Main, they can still help you out. Probably a little late to get a customized Valentine's Day or ice cream blizzard cake. However, they have the cooler there. You can always walk in. They always have a stack there. You can pick one out, and they'll be happy to, if you want to write something on it real quick for them, you can still do that today. Just swing on by the North Main Dairy Queen, not the one on Second. If you want to get delicious blizzards and sandwiches and all that, they got you covered there. But the ice cream cake, blizzard cake headquarters is the Dairy Queen on North Main. That's where they make them at. So swing by there today and pick up an ice cream blizzard cake to take home for your sweetheart tonight. All right, it is 7:18. We're going to take a 2-minute break, and then Brian Luck, superintendent for the RSD, will join us next. Don't go away.
At Richland Motors, it's never been easier to sell or trade your current car, truck, or SUV for a newer model to hit the road in. Even if you don't purchase from Richland, they want to buy your vehicle for top dollar. But if you do buy from Richland, don't forget, they're the home of the powertrain warranty for life. That's a whole lot of confidence for you. See Richland for details. 2nd and Sycamore and 1309 Southeast Main.
Coming to the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center February 20th, the Glenn Miller Orchestra. The legendary Glenn Miller was one of the most successful of all dance band leaders back in the swing era of the 1930s and 40s. Today, the 18-member ensemble continues to play many of the original Miller arrangements, both from the civilian band and the Army Air Force band libraries. Additionally, you get to enjoy some of the modern selections arranged and performed in the Miller style and sound, just as it was in Glenn's day. Get your tickets now at artesiaartscouncil.com or at the Ocotillo P.O. Box Office. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. U-Haul is the world's largest advertiser in the Yellow Pages. Too bad millennials don't know what the Yellow Pages are. Here's Mike Winters.
Shoot, we're getting to a point where, the next couple generations of people don't know what a Yellow Pages are here.
Payphone.
So, that's right. Yeah, payphone. What's that? You could give a guy $1 to use your cell phone? No. A little different. Good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Independent School District, Superintendent Brian Luck back with us. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today?
Good morning. It better be after 7 o'clock.
Did I say 8?
9.
I did say 9? Jeez, man, I'm way off. 7:21.
Some poor person's probably at home right now just frantically trying to get by.
I thought I was on the East Coast for a minute. Sorry about that.
For those of you listening on the East Coast today.
That's right. I nailed it.
Good morning.
How are you today, Brian?
We're great. We're great.
Good deal. So I'm curious. Super Bowl, were you happy with the outcome? Were you rooting for Niners, Chiefs? Did you care?
I didn't really care. I like the fact that it was a good game, and it was
that. It was competitive.
It seemed like it went late this year, and I don't know why.
Well, it was the overtime, so it kind of did drag it out a little longer than I think they anticipated it to.
No, it was fun.
Yeah.
We had in honor of that, we actually had a little 2-hour delay to go with it.
That's right.
Didn't get a lot of complaints about that.
That's right. And I actually found out. I think I got the message from your people. Right about the start of the Super Bowl and everything.
Yeah, we planned it like that.
Yeah, so, all right, get the word out. So, but and of course, and that's one of those things before we kind of get into the meeting that I'm pretty sure you always want to err on the side of the caution, but it always seems like you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Decisions here.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we want to make it. You're always going to get some people like, "Oh, school's fine. I went uphill both ways, snow and all that."
Oh yeah.
But the thing we got to remember is we live in southeast New Mexico, and yes, we don't get as much snow and ice as other parts of the country. That being said, we're also not prepared to handle snow and ice like other parts of the country. Right. We do not own big pyramids full of salt every couple hundred yards to go pick up. We don't have a plethora of plows on the standby to start hitting the arteries and all that the moment ice and snow starts forming. We don't have those type of amenities. So therefore, we have to let nature do some of that.
That's right.
And hence the 2-hour delay. and it makes sense because, the main roads were just fine, Monday morning. But if you're back in neighborhoods and places where buses have to go, it's a little bit hairy.
Our concern was that was such a wet snow.
Yeah.
And give or take, mid Sunday afternoon when it did finally start to melt, there was a ton of water everywhere. And too, like you said, we don't have that ability. I know I did see city trucks out salting.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they did because it sure did help out quite a bit. It was needed, but you're right. We have county roads and we have side streets in different places that didn't get a lot of traffic, and it was a little dicey. And we did coordinate with the bus company and ask them, hey, if we gave you a couple hours for your guys to not have to get to work until the sun comes up.
Would that be a good thing?
That way they can sort of see what they're fixing to attack as they dive down the road. And
I imagine you have to consult because they know all the logistics of what it takes to get those buses up and going every single morning.
Yep.
And so, their abilities factor in greatly on your decision.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then too, the other piece to that was just we knew it. I mean, it was 18 at my house when I got up that morning, and we have some people that because mom and dad go to work or the distance where the kids have to get to the bus stops. We actually have kids standing at bus stops at 6:45 in the morning, and that's cold.
It's
and a lot of them aren't as fortunate, and their mom and dad have to go somewhere, so the kids are standing there. So, and again, we were pretty fortunate. We just did the 2-hour delay.
Sure. Rather err on the side of caution.
Yes, and community seems to support it. So, and again, if we have a old-fashioned snow day anymore, those are virtual days. So the kids have assignments, teachers have responsibilities.
Those aren't quote unquote lost days anymore.
No, and that factors in a lot. We're going to do everything we can because I don't think people quite realize how much goes on before 6 a.m. in our district with custodians and cafeteria.
She was curious, since we're on the topic here. Now that they kind of have this more virtual thing, does that kind of change the criteria on whether you delay or not? Like if you're thinking, well, since we can go virtual learning, maybe we'll try a delay first or something. Does that change those variables a little bit? I was just curious.
It's interesting for me. Boy, we fought so hard to be back face to face.
Right.
And ironically, for me personally, it's almost the other way. Yes, we have the virtual option and we would still get stuff done, but I can't forget month after month of just sitting there wishing that we were face to face. So, again,
and virtual is a great substitute, but it does not replace face to face. It just doesn't. It's not as effective.
And we're going to get more obviously out of the face to face. And so, obviously that's. I go back to my predecessor, Mr. Gottlieb. We owe that to the people that are paying our salaries.
Absolutely.
To do everything you can to be face to face. It may be a little bit later. That didn't hurt anything. And it usually doesn't. But again, and had Sunday been Monday, we would have been a virtual day. That got a little dicey pretty quick right there.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, Sunday, and all of us were kind of surprised a little bit. It's like, yeah, we might get, but we were like, whoa, this is like actual snow. We were just thinking like it'd snow for an hour and go away or something. Yeah.
I still got so tickled with the amount of texts and calls and different things that I was seeing about people. What do you think they're going to call school? This was like Sunday morning at like 8:00, and I was like, boy, we are stretching here a little bit.
I was like, y'all new to New Mexico? We don't keep snow around very long.
No. And what's interesting though too is, boy, we've still got it. Yeah. We've had some really pretty last couple of days.
It has.
But what a much needed moisture.
I'm about
for
to say,
town.
I'm hoping. I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm hoping this snow is a good soaking, and this definitely helps the moisture tables and things here for our part of the woods. So
a little winter wheat product right there. That'd be nice. Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. Well, I did hear, overall as a state, we're pretty good as far as levels this year. They're saying there's good moisture in the mountains all around the state.
Good.
It might not be such a bad year after all on some of that stuff.
Fingers crossed.
Knock on wood. That's right. But that being said, if you're not aware, the school district had their monthly board meeting on Monday.
Yes, sir.
As they normally do now on Monday nights here. And I know it was a little bit special here in our little circle because for folks not familiar, each month a different school kind of kicks off the meetings with the pledge and everything, and the students come in, and it's usually really cute, and it's better with the younger kids because let's face it, we all ooh and ah over younger kids. Sorry, when you get to teenagers, you're just not as cute anymore. It just you know what? Sorry, teenagers, as you get older, you're going to be less cute. It just the older you get, people don't find you cute anymore. Sorry. Then when you get to our age, and we'll be the ones going ooh and ah. But anyway, I get back here. But every month we always have a different school, and they kind of do that. And of course, Sean's a proud papa. His son Hunter got to be a part of the group on Monday night here.
No, and that was so neat because and it's funny, behind the scenes as we get ready, we'll. Our head of our technology department always comes up and sets the microphone
to the proper level.
Sort of to the proper level. About 30 minutes before the meeting, he'll come in and he'll get it ready. And And the other night we just lowered it all the way that we could go, and there were still a couple of them that were having to look up to say their names. It's a neat deal. I mean, that's we fill up the boardroom when that happens. I mean, literally, we were standing room only for about 5 minutes when that happens, and it's customary. They say the pledge. We shake their hands or fist bump them, whatever we're going to do, and then whew, the room empties. And
yeah, that's it.
It's
I
funny.
would like to invite people to stick around for some more of it. There is some very good information that comes after that.
It is, but
I know everyone's got their lives.
A lot of those little ones, though, it kind of cracks me up because that's a lot to ask.
Sure, that's a couple-hour meeting and the attention level and all. I get that, but maybe take the maybe one parent or somebody goes. If you do have the ability to stay for some of these, I highly recommend it.
Well, and I joke, at my admin meetings, I'll say, well, if you were one of the 5 that were watching online, and we'll all kind of chuckle, and then you can see them kind of going, were you one that was watching? And but
hey, maybe we can do shout outs and door prizes to get more people to.
Well, what I think is neat is they're there, and if you want to go back, if you did miss it, or if you're like, what are they talking about?
Right.
We do have it on our website, and they are posted, and we're going to keep that. We talked about that. Was that a product of COVID, and or is that just time?
Well, I would imagine it's even a useful tool for some of the other board members and administrative and staff, because I imagine there's moments where what discussed, and they can actually go back and see exactly the wording or however it was presented.
We have had to go back multiple times and rewatch to make sure that the date was said correctly, or a question was asked,
right.
and you get busy doing something, and then you realize, oh my goodness, I missed that. And so it's very handy, but too, I mean, it's a lot like with the ball games.
Mm-hmm.
It's where we're at, and it's a neat thing. It's a tool, and I can be in Portales Friday night for my daughter and my son's games, and I can watch the Roswell girls play here.
Yeah.
And not have to, it's free, and not have to worry about, still kind of being able to be a part. I got my earphone in one ear and screaming at somebody else over here on the other side.
Brains in 4 places, but
only on game days can you do that. Only on game days.
So if you do hear the superintendent in the middle of a meeting go, yeah, you know exactly what happened.
Now that, no, I made a promise, and it's, we've had a couple Tuesday meetings, and it's like even this year we had a Goddard Roswell night during a board meeting, and it was tough. It was open, but it was minimized on my screen, and like I said, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
People are like gauging his mood on the game. He's like, oh, he must not be going well. He's kind of cranky.
No, this my daughter's playing varsity basketball this year. So her last year, and
I was gonna say, yeah, you've got a vested, even a little bit more vested interest.
Well, and because of that, though, I just can't, because I can't. My facial features. If we're doing a meeting, we're doing a meeting. So
I think you know what? I think on those nights you should be allowed to do the meeting at the gym.
No.
Nothing will get done, but you'll have good attendance.
They might not like us up in the top trying to pull that off. No.
Is that a whistle or is that a call to order?
That's exactly right. Is that a second? No, they. But back to the videoing of the meetings, though, they're there, and they're pretty useful. And if
and at the end of the day, it's the chronicling of history.
Mm-hmm.
This is and I'm guessing there will be times in the future where they got to go back and refer to precedent things, and they're going to be going through these very meetings and things to learn or establish that, or this is kind of the history, and like it, love it, or hate it, this is how history's recorded now,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the world we live in. So,
that's right.
Ideally, I kind of want to see 30, 40 years in the future, and they're back looking at these tapes, making references and thinking, this is how they did it back then. This is what we need. You know what I mean?
I do.
That's so I think yes, it's a useful tool for people today, but I also think it is for the next generation.
I agree.
As well, too. So,
I agree.
Well, that being said, there was a board meeting.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the meat and potatoes of the meeting here.
I tell you what, if you plug here for Roswell Daily Record, if you can get a copy of today's Roswell Daily Record, there's a young lady on the front page named Serenity Chavez Ontiveros.
Okay.
And we recognized her for some of the work that she's done and the Horatio Alger Scholarship that she got, which is a $25,000 scholarship.
Nice.
I think she plans to, if I've got this right, maybe criminal justice here in New Mexico.
Okay.
And
so again, like law enforcement or
more like legal? I think it'd be more like legal. She
attorney world.
I tell you what, she this is her second time appearing on the front of the Roswell Daily Record, and I'm trying to remember the exact month that their first story appeared. She had an opportunity to kind of come up a little bit and tell us her story, and I mean we were speechless, just amazed at the work she's doing. So, like I said, we're just trying to look at some different things in our recognitions and highlight. Like Mr. Edwards said, we always want to bring the bad, and so much of our meetings a lot of times get focused on what's not right.
Sure.
And so when we have opportunities to celebrate like that, what a neat story. What a neat young lady, and she's got a bright future ahead of her.
It's an inspiration to people.
Yes.
It's because anytime you see someone, especially come from a place that they weren't dealt the best deck of cards, and they come and achieve and succeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's an inspiration. It's a reflection of our own selves. We look and say, well, if that person was able to do that, well, maybe I can do what I'm trying to do in my life. And so, to me, it's a motivation as much as it is. Yes, we want to celebrate this person, and you know what, you're awesome and you're an inspiration, and we want to use you as a beacon for others to be inspired to do the same kind of effort in whatever their goals are.
I want to say she plays like 3 sports, has 2 jobs, is involved in like 8 clubs, and I'm sitting there going, man, I wish she'd apply herself, but just a neat story. And that's, we actually moved that to a different spot in the board meeting so that we could make sure that we had some people there that wanted to do the presentation.
Devote
for her.
the proper attention it deserved.
Absolutely. We had some reports, some information items. Healthy Schools New Mexico. So Roswell was, I believe, the only school in New Mexico that received the grant at the level that we did. We have a crew that goes through our mid schools. So like our elementary schools first. So like the body mass index and the fitness challenge and the walking Wednesdays, and we're really blessed with that. Paula Camp, Becky Joyce, now
Healthy Kids Chavez County.
Now Alicia Hillman jumps in on board with that, and we're able to do some really neat things. So had a chance for them to come up and kind of pump the program a little bit about the things that they're fixing to do there. Had an opportunity to meet with the New Mexico group a few months back, and just really touted the schools here in Roswell. PE teachers, elementary school PE teachers they're paramount in that. I mean, they've done a great job with that and really promoted it.
It's great, not because they really are on that whole side of with Healthy Kids Chavez County. Not only are they working on the phys ed side, but the food service side and getting local stuff and local grow. So I know not only are they working with Roswell schools, but Hagerman, Dexter, all the Chavez County, and really all the schools in the county are really doing some awesome stuff through that Healthy Kids program.
Well, like you mentioned how times changed. I want to say it's Pecos, might have been Nancy Lopez, where they grow their carrots.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids grow them, and then they take them over to the cafeteria. The cafeteria preps them, cooks them, and takes them back, and the kids get a chance to eat them. And how, 50 years ago, that was just kind of old hat. Kids knew what a garden was. And they grow it,
now it's like you got to realize what happens to your food before you pick it up at the grocery store.
Food comes from somewhere before the grocery store.
Or the McDonald's drive-thru.
Absolutely. Had a brief presentation by Mr. Kenneth Bewley on the Panorama Survey, which is put out by the state. Front page of the paper again. Not for bad things, just, we're transparent. I brought that up multiple times with not only this board, but boards of the past. And, when we give out a survey, if I'm asking somebody to take their time to do it, we're going to look at the results, and whether they're good or bad, we'll bring them forward and present them and address the areas that we need to grow on, and tout the areas that we think we can champion, and use that as a tool. That's what it is. I don't ever look at those as I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I know where I can be got.
Sure.
And, we're trying really hard to fix those things. So we want to make sure that the public sees that, you did it, here it is, and, we're going to work on those things.
Yeah, it's, well, and let's face it, like you're saying, being transparent and that's what it is. At the end of the day, we are all have an interest in the education of the people that live here, and because it all we're all impacted together, even if you don't have kids and things. At the end of the day, these are the people that are going to be your city leaders, your things, and you're going to make sure they have the best tools to do all this.
Absolutely.
And it starts with that foundation of an education. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, look, we just want the best for every kid. And so, yeah, we needed the good, bad, the ugly to do that. And if we just touted everything we're doing right and focused on that, there would be a lot of wrong things that get enhanced and just brought to the forefront. And so, yeah, and I get it. Education is one of those polarizing, people are ready to go guns blazing if they get upset in this world, and that's where we try to avoid. Say, look, we're not coming from a place of just trying to do it wrong. We just got to learn and do it better. And sometimes problems don't arise until it's like sometimes you do something to solve something, and then it creates another problem that you didn't realize until after the fact, and so you have to navigate through some of that stuff, and that's just called life and dealing with it. That's going to happen whether you're at a school board meeting or in your family's Christmas dinner. It's just going to do that.
I think it's interesting that you say that. That's probably been, since I went from being a teacher into administration, one of the hardest things, because if you're a problem solver, you want to solve them, and you immediately go to what you would think would be the quickest, easiest, best, and it's hard to think multi-dimensional as, okay, if we do this, how does this happen? And I know especially when I first started, I was always amazed at the people. I would say something and they would pop off with, well, if you do that, this will happen. And I think I'm like, how do you think like that?
Right.
What makes you think like that? And so over time, it's interesting because there are so many different ripple effects that come out of that. And two, I mean, you would think that providing a good education should be pretty basic. And so that's the one thing that we're trying to stick with is we have good curriculum, we have good teachers, and that's going to push us really far down the road as far as trying to avoid some of those pitfalls.
Absolutely. But that's the stuff that really, and that's when you get to the school board level and that level, that's kind of that's the job is to kind of, see those moments and address them and deal with them before they become a bigger problem or issue.
Well, I love the transparency with my board as well, too. I'm not just saying that because I'm on the radio. But we talk frequently, as far as, well, what about this or what about that? And we have a pretty open relationship where we can share different ideas. And I like that. I think that's going to be healthy for the town. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
The community elected those 5 individuals to serve as my superiors. And then they've given me the task of running the district, and that's a big responsibility. And
absolutely.
And I appreciate that they let us they've given us parameters, but they've also let us kind of bounce off a couple other sides a few times. So,
well, and I would imagine too, because you do your position as superintendent and the school board, it's a unique relationship because it's different than a traditional boss employee relationship here, because at the end of the day, technically, yes, you're hired and you serve at the pleasure of the board, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
However, you almost have to listen to each other and give each other direction for it to work. There's times where you're directing the school board on something and vice versa here too. And that's just the nature of the position, because the school board isn't running day-to-day policy at the school level or even at the district level.
Correct.
I mean, their philosophy and budgeting and all of that, but when it comes to rules and the policy, that's all on Brian.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, they have to abide by Brian's policies and things. So it's a unique relationship than more than just the boss-employee relationship. So yes, at the end of the day, they're your boss, but at the same time, they are as accountable as you are to make sure that the job gets done. And so it turns it into a collaborative more than boss-employee relationship.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And I've talked to other superintendents that aren't as fortunate as I am. So, again, just, very happy that we're able to do what we do, and keep going forward with it.
Sure.
A couple other things that came up. We had some construction updates with our Mesa project, which is moving along great. We are a little behind schedule. I think the original contract had said that we would move in December. Was actually in part of the new building yesterday. They look like they're kind of wrapping up some fine pieces to that. So I envision
we're close.
We're getting close. Like I said, we made it through COVID. We made it through product.
If anybody's
problems.
ever had a construction or renovation project go on time, you're probably the first.
Well, I will say this. I'm extremely happy with the work that's been done and the product that's fixing to be unveiled over there. Whenever they get it all good and clean, we'll have a nice open house for people to go take a look at it.
Yeah,
it is. You cannot even tell that what we renovated from, I'm going to air quote, Old Mesa, you cannot even tell that that's the same building. So it's really neat looking.
I'm telling you, it's Brenda Elementary, and because my wife has taught there pretty much, her whole career there, and she started way back before the remodel and everything.
Yes, sir.
And I imagine, and I'll tell you, that school, if you walk in it today, looks nothing like it did when my wife first started there 20 plus years.
No, sir.
And they're getting the same treatment right now over there. And you're like, is this even the same school? So I know exactly what you're talking about when you say that, because I had that same experience at Brenda Elementary. So.
Well, and then we'll just continue that good vibe right behind it over to Nancy Lopez. Then from Nancy Lopez on out to Mountain View, and then Mountain View to Washington Avenue. So it laid out. Now, granted, I say that, and that's not next year, the year after. So, but we're looking at
a few years of projects on the road, on the
it
menu there.
It is, but once that gets done, I mean, we're gonna be in a neat spot as far as the district.
And that's kind of when it comes to maintenance, upkeep of anything, whether it's buildings, roads, whatever it is, it's kind of one of those deals that when you have a whole district of those things to do, you do it, but it's almost like you're on a clock, because you'll start renovating here and then you go around renovating everything around the district it needs to. And about the time you get done, it's time to start back from square one again and do a little upkeep and remodel and maintenance and stuff too. It's really a never-ending process.
It's interesting. So the way the state actually ranks the schools as far as their facilities, you don't want to be first. That's bad. First is bad.
Things got bad if you're first.
But the neat thing about that is then that's you're in a really good spot for some funds from the state. So Del Norte had actually hit number one. I think Mesa, if not one, was in the top 5. But we have buildings that have, in my head, I'm just like, we just redid those.
Right.
And they're like, no, Brian, that was almost 12 years ago that they redid those. And I'm like, oh, okay.
And as we get older, time gets shorter. And
Yes,
we're like,
it does.
That wasn't that long ago. And they were like, oh, dang, that was a long time ago.
Exactly right.
Yeah, life does that to us sometimes.
Well, but I say that I've got a really good team that monitors that, and we work with the state to leverage our funds the best we can. Excuse me. Roswell High has a new fire alarm that's going in because of that. We've had a lot of work done on roofs, different things in the district for that.
Plus, just because the way of the world we live in, every school has had to, as far as security and safety, they've been a lot of renovations to all of the schools.
Right.
In that department over the last 5-10 years as well, too.
Front offices.
So it's been a constant, really, construction project, it feels like, at some of these schools, just because of the world we live in and what needs to be done right now.
Well, it's pretty interesting. And I don't think I'm speaking ill of anything right now, but we met with the PSFA, Public School Finance Authority, and that was something that we brought up as we're building these buildings, you need a safety person just like we have one. So as you're pricing out a building and we don't have a secure vestibule in the front like what we need, that needs to come from y'all. That doesn't need to be an expense that we have to pick up.
Sure, because that's not a negotiable thing. It's like that has to be there like the building needs windows.
Right. But I came from a place where there was no windows, so I mean.
Well, but again, to the world, but that's the way the world is. And yes, 20 years ago, you just walk into school and go pick your kid up and go home. But unfortunately, we don't live in that world.
No.
You know what we also used to do at that time? People used to live and not lock their doors and everything. That doesn't happen anymore either. Times
I understand.
And life changes, and the schools have. They got to do what they got to do to protect your kids. That's what they're doing.
It's interesting you say that, though. It has not taken as long as I thought, really, to kind of get our town acclimated as far as the doors are locked. Excuse me, plan ahead. So hats off to our community, and I can't thank them enough that it didn't take, a minute, kind of for that to happen and everybody to kind of go, well, I might not like it. I might think it's this or it's that, and I might throw a minor fit at the door, but we've been very
what
fortunate
happens
with that
when
this
something
year.
Slips through the cracks? Are you going to be, I get it.
Yeah.
And trust me, my wife has dealt with some salty parents because they didn't, they were denied access to things that they felt they were, supposed to go into. But at the end of the day, and I'll tell you this, my wife, she's told me directly, when it comes to protecting your kids, she don't care what she's got to do or not do to let you in or out. Her priority is your child, and I'm telling you, and I'm telling you, every other teacher feels same way. And sorry, you'd be mad at the teachers, but they are protecting your kids over anything you say at that moment. That's right. That's just that's where their head's at. And you go through the proper channels, they'll let you right in. But you just try to roll up in there, no teacher will let you do that because guess what? This is where they live and work. This is their home as well. And they want to safe and protect your kids just as much. So
absolutely.
Please be understanding when a teacher gets a little bit more authoritative when you try to do something that they don't want you to do.
Right. Correct. And the interesting thing about that, we're not anywhere near like our assembly time. As we get down into the spring, we'll probably bring that back up as, awards assemblies and graduations and just, remember that, yes, that's your kiddo, but when they're with us, we like to take ownership of them just as much as you do.
You've given us a responsibility, and it is taken very seriously.
So we'll put that on the list for April, May. Real quick before we run out of time, oh my goodness. Roswell High Key Club met with some very nice young ladies the other night that are going to go to Tempe, Arizona on April the 5th through the 7th. So reminder, a lot of people don't know if students travel across state lines in our district, and we're working on that policy to maybe expand it to more like a 500-mile radius.
Yeah, because a 3-hour trip to Texas shouldn't require a huge act of Congress to go anywhere. But
as far as that goes, I remember where that came from, and I understand that, but we've opened up with our transportation options now. So you're right, and what always used to crack me up is I couldn't go to Denver City for the Tumbleweed Classic for band without going before the board, but I could drive to Shiprock, and so
good to go.
So policy committee actually brought that one forward the other day, and they're like, "Do you really want to look at this?" So working on that, but good luck to those young ladies going out there to Tempe, Arizona.
And that's a good time of year to be in Arizona. I'd rather be there in April than July.
I know that sounds like a neat trip right there.
Absolutely.
Had the Goddard and Roswell High School. It's a trip we started, probably about 10 years ago at the high school level. Their anatomy classes, A&P classes that go over to Texas Tech. I think it's called like the Red Bag Experience or something like that.
Okay.
They, goodness gracious, they get on the bus at like 3:30 in the morning. They're sitting there in Lubbock at the Texas Tech campus, bright and early, ready to go at 7:30 Texas time.
They lose that hour going back. Yeah,
and then they tour the campus. They look through the gross human anatomy lab. They talk to the medical school that's over there. They talk to kids that have done that. A very neat experience.
Absolutely.
Very well worth it. So it's funny when they would start that. Hey, we're going to start. We'll take the first 55 kids because they used to, usually put them on a big old charter bus, and there will be 65 kids waiting at the teacher's door when they get there that morning. It's a neat deal. It's a first come, first serve, but super excited about that. That would be, we have 2 dates, April 5th, April 8th. 2 other really neat grants that were awarded the other night, or that we approved the other night. Both Mesa Middle School and Mountain View Middle School were recipients of the Hispanic Education Art, Music, and Dance mini grants.
Oh, cool.
$15,000 for both schools to upgrade, to do anything that they want to with this in the area of dance, art, Hispanic education. Both sets of teachers came in. They laid out their plans for the kids, how they're going to do that. It's exciting. Mesa's is more of like an event type of a deal where the kids are going to come and perform. Mountain View had a little different spin for their project, but still, we were really excited about that. I mean, that's here's $30,000, split in half, and you take it and you do this and you do this, and so hats off to those teachers, because that was something that was driven, within the building level.
Yeah, that makes it even a little bit more special when it kind of comes from within.
Oh, absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. Reminder to everybody that this Friday we have professional development.
All right.
So we're half day Friday for our teachers. Then they'll train in the afternoon. So dismissals, I believe, 12 o'clock.
Gotcha. The kids will go home early.
Kids will go home early, and then Monday is a President's Day Community Learning Day. Did remind everybody, all of our staff that's not, again, air quotes, a day off, that we actually have assignments within the community, different things. A lot of the schools have sent me the stuff that they're doing, activities that they have already completed and that the kids are going to take home and work on with their parents, as the day goes on, different events that are on TV, different things here in Roswell. So that is no students on campus Monday, the 19th. Our calendars getting pretty close to being ready to take that to the board. Again, it's 2 days earlier, 2 days later. Do you want 2 days at Thanksgiving? Do you want the full week at Thanksgiving? So we came up with basically 3 calendars that we're getting ready to take to the staff. So
they'll debate it out and find the one that everyone seems to be most happy with.
It's going to be interesting because there's really just basically 2 choices that have you finishing by Memorial Day. The third choice has you coming back after Memorial Day for that last week. And I don't know. We'll see if that's the calendar that people vote for. I go to work that week anyway. So,
right. It depends on vacation plans and everyone else.
I know.
That's what most people are going to be looking at and weighing in on that one.
But that gets to be their vote.
Exactly. That's like, you do the dealer. I'm out.
That's exactly right. The state has given us basically the same set of parameters as last year. 188 days of instruction, 193 for the staff. So not a lot of wiggle room.
Yes,
not a lot of wiggle room.
Yeah, it is. You're right. They're wedging and crowbarring and getting it in there. So, did we get it all?
I got it all.
Good deal.
I got all mine.
And like you said, of course, if you ever miss any of this stuff, go to the Roswell Independent School District website, and you can find this meeting and previous meetings there for you can go back and watch. Particularly if you had maybe your family members participate in a particular one, to go back and watch it, Sean. It's there for you to check out. So.
And it was funny when he walked in. I wasn't expecting to see him there, so it took me a second, and then.
I don't your face doesn't belong to where it is.
And then his agent came over and reminded me who he was.
Very good. Well, as always, appreciate the visit. Anything we can do or anything you need from us, please don't hesitate to holler. And
likewise.
And we'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Don't work too hard.
That's the plan.
Excellent. All right, it is 7:58. All right, Jocelyn, pay attention. I'm going to do that commercial now. So we were talking about something else off air. That's my covert signal to tell her. It is 7:58. Time for your Chavez County Sports Report, brought to you by DSI.
Now your Pecos Valley
In a
News
time
Update.
where humans and technology collide, ineffective technology plagues our businesses, schools, and healthcare environments. DSI Document Solutions has emerged as New Mexico's safeguard from the pains of slowed productivity, providing our nation's top business technology, workflow strategies, and support. DSI is here to boost your productivity and reduce your costs. Get ready for success. Visit our new website at dsinm.com and reduce your costs. Get ready for success. Visit our new website at dsinm.com.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Roswell Coyotes ventured out into Ralph Tasker country, playing at Hobbs last night, but losing 72-67 in boys basketball. That means that both teams are now 2-2 in district play. Hobbs 10-14 overall, Roswell 13-11. Next up for the Coyotes will be a trip to Carlsbad. That'll be Friday night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Roswell girls played at home against Hobbs, and I believe we've mentioned how good the Hobbs girls are. They are now 21-3 overall, 4-0 in district play after smashing the Coyotes on Roswell's home gym, 65-28. Roswell is 1-3 overall, and will be playing host to Carlsbad Friday night at 7 o'clock. Carlsbad beat Clovis last night in girls hoops, 44-43. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
Thousands of miles from the U.S. border with Mexico, supporters of both candidates said a major influx of migrants into New York City is seriously impacting the district, which stretches from parts of working and middle-class neighborhoods in Queens to wealthy suburbs in Nassau County, Long Island. Edwin Mora, Washington.
Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas, the first cabinet member to be impeached since 1876. The House voting 214 to 213 to impeach Mayorkas over his handling of the border crisis, accusing him of violating his oath of office and breaching the public trust. Not a single Democrat voted yes. An impeachment trial in the Democrat-controlled Senate could come later in the month. Customs and Border Protection reporting more than 176,000 illegal immigrant encounters last month. That is a record for the month of January. 3 Washington, D.C. police officers have been shot and wounded this morning. Their injuries do not appear to be life-threatening, according to the Metropolitan Police. Texas authorities say they're investigating how the person who opened fire in a Houston megachurch last Sunday purchased a rifle despite having a criminal record as well as a history of mental illness. Ukraine's military says it deployed drones to sink a Russian landing ship in the Black Sea. And South Korea says North Korea has done it again, firing multiple cruise missiles into the waters off its northeast coast. On Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow is up 55 points. The Nasdaq ahead 117. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
They're counting the votes following Indonesia's presidential election. The U.S. and China watching closely as both superpowers vie for greater influence, diplomatic and otherwise, in Southeast Asia.
The front runner is this former Special Forces General Prabowo Subianto. He's a very controversial character, and he's been ahead for 3 to 4 months. So I think a lot of people are thinking, well, given his character and his very different style, would probably get a very different direction. But in policy terms, all 3 of the presidential candidates have essentially said they're going to continue this moderate focus on development. So I don't think the voters are expecting a radical change in direction, just perhaps a big change in leadership style.
The BBC's Jonathan Head. Japan's space agency says its new flagship rocket will have a second test flight on Saturday, 2 days after an originally planned liftoff was postponed because of a bad weather forecast. News and analysis, townhall.com. A fire-ravaged Paris landmark is well along the road to recovery.
Scaffolding that shrouded the top of Notre Dame Cathedral following a devastating fire in April 2019 is being removed, marking a milestone in its reconstruction. The partial removal of the shell at the edifice's summit this month is revealing the cathedral's new spire for the first time, adorned with a golden rooster and cross, in a glimpse of its expected appearance upon completion. There's been anticipation among Paris residents as Notre Dame is on track to reopen December 8th. Keith Peters reporting.
Sony's fourth quarter was quite profitable. The Japanese tech giant's profits grew 13%, hitting $2.4 billion. Sales of music, image sensors, and video games boosted the company's bottom line. But sales were robust all across its diverse business divisions. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travelers and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to our number 2 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy middle of the week, everybody.
Yes, sir.
You made it to Wednesday. Good on you.
I'd just like to point out that even though he didn't check over here, you did check on your phone to make sure it was 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. You can't resist. You know how the timing works. You know, as soon as you hit the mic, that you've got about 30 seconds in the 6.
Yeah, I know.
You still check. I love a man of
I'm a creature
commitment.
of habit and commitment.
That's right.
I have routines. I am a huge proponent of routines and things like that. Oddly, I'm an odd dude when it comes to stuff like that. I'm very free spirited on most like the flow of things. But I'm very regimented at the same time.
Well, and I think a lot of that
very weird.
It lends itself to your training. You are government issue.
Yeah.
At this point, I mean, it's fascinating to me because there's a lot that civvies just don't know about what goes on in that world.
Yeah.
And when I found out about some of it, it's mind-boggling. Like the fact that you can't, while on active duty, get a tattoo.
Is that still the case?
I don't know if it's
when I was
still the case, but
when I was in, you couldn't. Well, here's the thing: you could have tattoos.
You could have tattoos.
They can't be visibly. You can't like if you got a tattoo, it better not be visible when you're in uniform.
Right.
If it is, you're going to get your lunch eaten.
Right. From what I've gathered, it's if you what it comes
but I don't
down
think
to
that's the case anymore. I think they changed that.
Well, okay. Or a better example is if you go, let's say, to the beach on like leave, and you get a really bad sunburn, you can get in trouble for that. You can get marked for that because you are property of the U.S. government, and then you have damaged government property.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling to a civilian.
I will do you one more better. I will do you some more better. And this is something. Fortunately, I didn't have to deal with too much. But if I was stationed at a different location, I would have had to participate in this pretty heavily.
Okay.
But because of I was stationed at Holloman and what our mission was, I didn't have to deal with this. But there is something in my career field in the military. It's called the PRP program.
Okay.
And it deals with nukes. Nuclear bomb.
Nuclear, but go on.
Nuclear bomb.
Right.
So if I ever had to load nukes, or I was on a mission or on a jet that had a mission, in it, then I'd have to be in the PRP program.
Okay.
Which means which basically gives me the right or the thing to load nukes on aircraft.
Sure.
There are a whole different set of rules for that versus regular loading.
Right. Imagine because you're handling something that's
but it's also
far more devastating
rules as well too.
Okay.
It's not just like, for instance, when we're loading, physically actually loading the jet, it's called the no-load zone. When we load bombs in the military, we work as a crew of 3 on fighter jets. If it's a bomber crew like B-52s, it's a crew of 4. But fighters and small bomber like the F-117, it's a crew of 3.
Right.
That's how weapons people come. We come in threes. That's kind of our thing.
The 3 musketeers.
But when we're loading nukes, it's called the no-load zone.
Loan or load?
Loan.
Okay, no loan.
L-O-N-E. Loan.
No
like
loan.
alone.
Okay.
And the no-load zone, and which means whenever we're loading a jet, we have to have visual sight of another person, of one of our 3 at every single time. No matter what we're doing on the jet, we have to be within sight of each other. No one can be out of sight of each other while loading nukes because of the nature of what that thing is.
Sure.
Also, if you're in the PRP program, you are very limited on what you can take and not take. If I have a headache, something as little as taking an aspirin can suspend me from the PRP program.
Really?
Because they might consider that something that alters my decision making. Something as simple as being in pain and having a headache and taking aspirin.
And wow.
Can disqualify me. Like even taking NyQuil because you have the flu.
Well, now NyQuil, now that's pushing it versus aspirin.
But like say I'm sick over the weekend and I got to take some NyQuil. If I report that, they've got to put me on a temporary suspension until this is all over with.
Now that's, I'm going to say, sort of understandable when you're dealing with nukes. When you're dealing with nuclear
But it's so ridiculous
bombs.
Because, let's face it,
aspirin is one. Now here's my line of delegation, because you basically just now went, if I couldn't sleep one night and had some Ambien, all of a sudden now it's like, yeah, obviously there are certain things like NyQuil, Ambien that could very easily and have proven like over the course of history affected people's decision making.
I would understand that point,
but aspirin, no.
Well, but this is how they get you. But I would understand your point if I was going into work the next day to load nukes. You know how many times a nuke person actually loads nukes? Never. I mean, they'll train on simulated nukes,
right?
But an actual one, never. If we actually had to do that, we got bigger problems whether I took NyQuil last night.
That's true.
Right?
It is true.
That's my point. It's like, okay, I get the stringent thing, but come on. NyQuil on the weekend when I got a sick. I'm not going in to load nukes on Monday anyway.
So you can't.
We don't need to do all this.
You
stuff.
can't have a beer after work.
They're very no.
Wow.
They were. It's now. There's the letter of the law and what they actually enforce. And
right.
That's probably a little different from base to base. However, if they follow the letter to the law, which
some did, and you don't really want to be the one to test the waters and see if you got the troop that does.
Yeah. So it's the military. That's when we talk about veterans and all, you're kind of seeing some of the stuff that this is what we're talking about. You don't get the mindset of a military person versus a civilian, which you're talking about. That scratches the surface. Yeah, you're legitimate. You legitimately, the U.S. Constitution is not your set of rules anymore.
Right.
You are not protected by the United States Constitution when you're a United States military member.
When I was a kid and I was playing with my guys, I didn't put together that GI literally meant government issue Joe.
Yeah. You are there. You are property of the United States. And they tell you when to pee, when to not pee, when you go, where to go, and how to get there. And that's the military. It is. And you're going to do the dumbest things in the world that make no sense to you, but there's a reason for it. And it's like, I'm telling you, nowhere else in my life have I been sitting outside in front of a building that had a bunch of white rocks sitting out there, and they weren't white enough. So I had to paint them whiter. That's the dumbest thing.
Yeah, that's pretty silly. that's busy work.
But there's a method to that.
I'm sure.
There is a method to that.
And that, my friends, is the reason Mike always checks the time at the top of the hour. Run it back around, baby.
It is. And I'm telling, that's when I tell those stories about, to this day, I still don't carry, if I can help it, things with my right hand, because I might have to salute. And I know I haven't had to salute nobody in 30 years.
Right.
But my brain is so ingrained that when I naturally pick stuff up and I walk out the building, 9 times out of 10, it's all in my left hand. Because that's just how my brain works because of the military.
Right.
I've just got that whole, like backpacks. You know, if you do the one shoulder backpack thing, they're not put it over the right shoulder.
Yeah, it'll. Yeah, I understand. I'm the same way with the.
And technically, I think, I don't remember. You could quote me on this. I think if you do have a backpack and you're in uniform, you have to use both straps.
It feels like you have to.
I think that's a rule.
Proper uniform.
Like you're out of uniform if you.
Right, because it makes sense, because if you're on a mission and you're like, let's say, parachuting in, your backpack gets caught on the, I'm not saying that's what's happening when you're hanging out.
Well,
but
and to be honest,
I get it.
It's not always a reason of functionality for you to do that. Sometimes it's a reason of mental.
Oh yeah, it's trying to make you fall in line. It's getting you to follow orders, no matter how ridiculous they may be.
Yeah, well, not even so much that. It's because it's more. They want you to critically think as a military member. They want you to, but at the same time, they want you to pay attention to detail. That's what they're teaching you. They're trying to teach you, if you are going to put as much time and energy in your salute or in way you wear your backpack, then they want you to put that same much time and energy when they're working on your $100 million aircraft or that $1 billion Navy ship.
Right. You're willing to put the care into the little things. That means you're willing to put the care into the big things.
This is for the exact same reason why I've told this story on the radio a bunch of times. Why, when I was in basic training, and I was what's called dorm guard, and so you had to be the person that lets or not lets people into the barracks, into your barracks here. And
I probably wouldn't use that grammar. I not let you in.
Whether you get to get in or not get in.
Right.
And there's protocols and procedures on who can get in and how they get in and how they present themselves. And so you have protocols and
you're the bouncer, basically.
Exactly. But you've got to do it to their rules. You can't just say, "Nah, you ain't getting in."
Yeah. You don't have the carte blanche. You just got the list.
Well, and it's even more attention to detail than you think. A guy like you, when the door is just a solid door with a little rectangle window.
I built this up into a club scene in my head. Sorry, there's a velvet rope in mine. Go ahead.
No, this is just a stark door, with the push button, the handle lever, and then it's got the little rectangle window with those safety lines in it and all that. And so literally when they come up, what they're supposed to do is slap their ID up on that window, and then you physically have to touch and point at the name on the thing. You can't just, oh yeah.
This is a camera thing?
No, you have to, no.
That's what, is there a camera on you?
No.
Well, then who knows?
The drill instructor that's testing you on the other side.
Testing. Okay, testing. Right. Okay, gotcha.
The drill instructor that could be sitting around the corner watching you that you don't realize.
Yeah.
They deliberately do this to try to get you to fail. This is what they're trying to do. They can teach you the importance of it.
There's a channel on TikTok that I suggest everybody follow called "As Long as We Trackin'."
Yeah,
and it's basically it's Army, not Air Force or anything, but it's basically this drill sergeant who follows privates around, making sure they're minding their P's and Q's. But his whole gimmick is he walks around shaking a handful of Skittles the whole time, and at the end he's like, "As long as we tracking." But it's seriously, it's all these things that you're talking about. It's like, he's like, hey, Private, heard you had a rough night last night. He said, yes, Drill Sergeant. He said, well, you better report to, if you, 5 minutes late is absent, and all this. And he said, I'll be there. He's like, you better, as long as we tracking.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of that, following to the letter and to the T.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when I've explained about reporting statements. Is our guest here?
Not yet.
Okay. It's kind of like when I explain about reporting statements. I remember giving that whole spiel on the radio about that. Do you remember that? Where, in basic training?
Mm-hmm.
So what you got to do, in basic training, to kind of teach you chain of command, teach you, officers enlisted and how you talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
So your drill instructors are not officers. Your drill instructors are enlisted. They're usually sergeants or something. I work for a living. You've probably seen that in 100 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Don't salute me. I work for a living. You hear some crap along those lines. But anyway, so in basic, what they do to teach you these things is anytime I talk to anyone of authority, drill sergeant, anybody that's not a dumb recruit like me,
right?
I have to give a reporting statement. So if the drill instructor comes up and says, Airman, what's your AFSC or whatever, he asks you a question. Before I answer him.
Airman Mike.
Yeah, Airman Winters reports his orders.
Mm-hmm.
Sir. And then I can answer his question.
Right.
But they try to trip you up because if you...
It's like Simon Says.
Yeah, exactly. If you have multiple people trying to talk to you,
mm-hmm.
say 2 drill instructors come up to you, the one asks you that question, Sir, Airman Winters reports as ordered. I'm a AF... Blah, blah, blah. And then the other drill instructor said, what'd you say, Airman? I have to go to that airman and say, Sir, Airman Winters reports as ordered. I said, blah, 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 blah. Now, if he asks me another question,
mm-hmm.
I can answer it. But
so only at the opening.
That one.
Gotcha.
Well, it's the new person.
Mm-hmm.
So since that other guy asked me a question, I answered it. Then if he follows up with another question, I can say yes, sir, no, sir.
Mm-hmm.
However, if the other guy asks me a question,
right.
I got to go back and say, Sir, Airman Sis
so
reports the order.
It's not like Simon Says.
Boom.
It's like Simon.
Yes.
It's like you're playing Simon because you get. Now I'm just picturing them circling the wagons,
mm-hmm.
basically like 6 drill instructors just surrounding you, and you having to keep track of which conversation you're in. That sounds like a lot of fun. Actually, I'm not gonna lie.
It's fun unless
for them.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Not for you.
Yeah, for you it's a
you
barrel
get
of
stuck.
Fun.
Yeah, that's no fun.
Well, this is when chow time, when you go to get
we know what chow time is.
Food
Don't mansplain chow to a fat man.
I don't know how much civilians know on these things. So I try to go to the least common denominator on these. During chow time, we go to the chow hall, and of course you have you have to do it at the position of attention while you're with your trays, and there's a whole protocol and procedure. You just don't roll up in there, grab a tray, get your milk, get your food, and sit down and eat. Don't work that way.
Right.
You got to go. Now, if you're a drill instructor or just a guy, yes. But for your recruits, no. You come in as your flight. There's tables of 4. And you do your position attention, you get your food, and then you stand there at your table. Put your tray on the table, and then you stand behind your chair at the position of attention until all of the chairs at your table are filled.
Mm-hmm.
And when the last person comes up to the table, then it's Airman be seated. And then you can sit down, and you have approximately 5 to 7 minutes to eat your
to inhale.
Yeah, to drink your 3 glasses of water, eat your food, and get out of Dodge there. However, while one is traveling and traversing around the chow hall to get from the chow hall line to their table, no matter where you sit in that chow hall, you have to come across the snake pit. The snake pit is where the drill instructors have lunch. It is a table with, at any given moment, 4 to 6 to 8 drill instructors sitting at it, depending on how busy lunch is at that particular moment.
So it's basically the jocks table in the cafeteria.
Yes. So the move was, so you come through the chow part, and you're walking to the dining area. And so it's kind of split off into 2 sections. You have to go either left or right. But in the middle is the snake pit.
Right.
And so you have to walk right up to the snake pit and then do a sharp left face or right face to get to whichever one you're going. And by the way, you're marching. You're not just skitty bopping around. You're, position marching a whole thing. And sometimes you make your left turn or your right turn, go on to your table and about your day.
Sometimes.
But sometimes the drill instructors might want to talk to you. And it's a crapshoot. You're just kind of like, please don't talk. And then it's like, airman? Ah, hell. So you stop, and that's when the fun begins. And yeah,
I got to break away new country, but yeah, sounds like a blast. Absolute blast.
It's a different world, man. It's just different, but that's what makes the kinship stronger too, because you're all going through that together, and it creates a bond, and it's all by design. They want you to do that. They want you to work as a team, almost a bit of an us against them. They want you to work together to try to outsmart the drill instructor.
Right.
Those moments where you do some of that, they're going to yell at you, but they're also behind the scenes going, they're learning. They're getting it.
They're doing the
They're
right
not
thing.
going to tell you to your face you're getting it, but maybe about the last week they'll start. But during that time, that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Just like to point out that all of this came because I mentioned that Mike checks the time.
Well, you did say something about veterans.
I did bring
the
up
military and how crazy it is.
Just that little snowball at the top of the hill, man.
Well, it's.
And next thing I know, he's mansplaining chow.
Well, you know what I do. All right, I have not seen a guest yet. I wonder if we should. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do weather and a quick commercial break. And then we'll maybe I'll dig around and see if we can play a quick interview. I haven't seen my guest here, so we'll go from there. Maybe my guest will show up. We'll be back.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the Four Corners, and that gives us fair conditions today, although we have a low off to the east, so the wind could be a little bit gusty at 20 to 30 miles an hour. We're headed for the upper 60s on the afternoon high, and we get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds passing through, lows 30 to 35, and then a mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday, 65 to 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hurry into Martin's Jewelry and Gifts for maximum Valentine effect. Choose Martin's for gold, silver, or turquoise. If diamonds are what your Valentine's desires, Martin's has diamond rings, pendants, or bracelets that are sure to please. Ready to pop the question? The selection of wedding sets is simply breathtaking. For maximum Valentine effect, shop Martin's today, 3301 North Main across from Sonic. Open 10 till 7 Monday through Saturday. Martin's Jewelry and Gifts is the smart Valentine thing to do.
Are you walking around with a space in your mouth from a missing tooth? Are you having difficulty chewing? Or are you holding back on your big smile in those group photos? Hi, this is Dr. Sarah Usher with Carabelli Dental. Did you know that we provide dental implant treatment for our patients? We can help you replace one tooth or all your teeth with dental implants. Why not call our office today? Set up an appointment and let's chat about options that will boost your confidence and allow you to live the life with the smile you want.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Hey, Freddie Sos here with breaking news. Right now, we have over 20 new half-ton trucks currently in stock with rates as low as 1.9% for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. You won't find these rates anywhere else, so do me a favor. Tell your friends and race on in to Richland Motors, 2601 West 2nd in Roswell.
We can all use help strengthening our marriage to build this house. Church on the Move invites you to the Joy of Marriage Conference, a 3-day event for married couples. Hear speakers Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman, American Idol finalist Danny Goki and his wife Leah Sett, as well as Willie and Rachel Scott, founders of Better Than Blended. February 15th through the 17th at Church on the Move in Roswell. Seats are limited. Visit cotmroswell.com or call the church office 575-622-7011.
Valentine's Day is almost here, and Dairy Queen on North Main in Roswell has a sweet treat for your sweetheart. Cupid Cakes. That's right, a delicious and delectable Dairy Queen treat perfectly sliced for two and priced right at a sweet $12.99. Choose chocolate dipped strawberry, red velvet, or customize your cake with any of DQ's Blizzard flavors. It's the perfect treat for two to show your sweetheart how special they really are. Come in for your Cupid Cakes today from Dairy Queen, 1900 North Main in Roswell, where happy tastes good.
The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop invites you to move on in and check out the fantastic selection of new fabrics arriving daily. Take advantage of a huge sale on Brothers Sewing Machines. If you're still stitched to your own machine and you just want a tune-up, bring it on over for in-house maintenance by expert technicians. And with free lessons at the Calico Cow, you can learn from some of the absolute best. The Calico Cow Fabric and Gift Shop, now at their new location, 200 East College in Roswell. Want to know how? Come see the cow.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Turtles can breathe through their butts. We imagine you know some people who do that too, because that's where their heads reside. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:30 here. I've not seen my guest, so we're going to do a little rearranging here. We're going to replay an interview next hour with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Matt joined us on Monday to always give us sage legal advice, and he had some good stuff for us earlier this week. So we'll play that for you next hour. So, in its place, normally Joan Bouye with the Chavez County Federated Republican Women, she joins us on the second Wednesday of the month to talk about the next Chavez County Federated Republican Women's meeting, which will be taking place 1 week from today, next Wednesday, at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center. Your guest speakers are your county manager and your city manager. City manager Chad Cole, and also your county manager Bill Williams as well, both going to be your speakers at the Federated Republican Women Lunch. And I believe, now, I don't want to give the whole interview away, but I believe, if I remember right, it's Italian little spaghetti meatball all night. So you're going to fill up on delicious spaghetti. I've been kind of in a mood for spaghetti, too, so it'll be good. Anyway, we had an interview with Joe. I started reminiscing about food. I get distracted. I'm a dog, a squirrel, whatever. It happens. Anyway, so Joanne had a great conversation with us early this week, and so I was going to play it next hour, but we got time now. So here is Joan Bouye with the Chavez County Federated Republican Women talking about their next meeting and their need for volunteers, too. Always looking for more people to get involved. So here is that interview. Enjoy. And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us in studio this morning from the Chavez County Federated Republican Women, Joan Bouye back with us. Good morning, Joan.
Good morning, and I'm delighted to be back on this cold, snowy day.
I know. It's it can't make up its mind around here.
I know.
It's cold one day and 65 the next. So
Incredible.
You wonder why we're all sick, right?
Exactly. Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely. Well, for folks not familiar, Joan and or the Chavez County Federated Republican Women join us each month. Usually it's a Wednesday right before their monthly meeting, which in this case will be next Wednesday at the Convention and Civic Center. And they meet, the Chavez County Federated Republican Women meet each month there. And each meeting is focused on a different, sometimes it's candidates, Republican candidates, presenting themselves, introducing themselves to the masses here. Sometimes it's themed, like at your Veterans Day during November and Christmas. And so each one kind of theme, but you always have a great meal and then a great discussion or guest speaker each time. So.
Okay. Well, our meeting is next week, which is the 21st.
Yes. It's hard to believe we'll be talking March in a minute.
We're halfway through February.
February's a blink.
And our speakers are going to be our county manager, Bill Williams.
Okay.
And our city manager, Chad Cole.
All right. So the management team from the city and the county will be, the heads of them, will be our guest speakers for this upcoming one.
We thought it would be interesting to know, number one, what are the biggest concerns that they have at this time? What are their plans for 2024? And how do they work together between the city and the county?
Absolutely.
We thought that would be an interesting topic.
It's an important relationship, and
yes.
And for folks who don't realize, the city manager and the county manager, they run the city or the county. That's what they go to the marching orders of the county commission or the city council, but they're the ones that when your road's not, that they're the ones overseeing the departments to making sure they're doing their jobs. And so it's a very, very important position as the city or county manager. They're kind of the head person in charge of the government for the the county or city, respectively.
Well, that's absolutely true. Chad is fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
We did have him a year ago when he was very, very new.
Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see what has developed with him over this past year.
Sure.
And
imagine he's had a lot to learn in a year because
my
he came. For folks that don't know, he was one of the from the school district. He worked there as assistant superintendent in various roles and things.
And a finance man.
Yeah. And so he's got experience at that level, but I'm sure running school business and city business aren't the same all the time. So
it's probably a learning curve.
Yeah, so I'd be very curious to see like lessons learned in a year from him. Like was it what he expected it, how different, or is it how I'd be very curious about it.
Well, I think he has a great support team, and I think that's important.
That is key. Yeah.
And he has mentioned that in the paper several times. Would you like to know what we're having for lunch?
Of course. I'm always a food guy. This is, I would say not quite, but almost more important than the guest speaker.
Oh, my goodness.
I'll give the tip of the nod to the guest speaker, but the food's right there.
Right. Well, I will tell you, Peppers is now our caterer.
Oh, good. So it's going to be good regardless.
Because things have changed at the convention center.
Yeah, they now changed some rules and who can do what to wear and all that.
Right. So we'll start off with a salad.
All right.
And then we will have spaghetti and meatballs.
A little Italian meal for lunch?
A real Italian meal, garlic bread, dessert, and tea.
Nice.
And that is $17, which really is a deal when you think about it.
Absolutely.
And
if you leave hungry, it's kind of your own fault because there's usually a ton of food.
There is a ton of food. And there's a ton of food. And
I hear tell that like Janine or usually if there's leftovers, there's a group of women amongst the Federated Republic of Women that are either blessed or cursed with having to take the leftovers home, depending on how much are there.
To be honest, when you are running the meeting as I am, you don't have time.
I'm about to say you don't usually get to eat the lunches till probably for dinner.
So about 6 of us do sit around afterward and kind of really do eat up
have lunch
whatever is left.
Yeah.
So we do encourage people to come.
So save them a meatball or two and some spaghetti.
Oh, come join us.
Absolutely, come out.
Come join us.
And I'm telling you, and of course we always have the county manager on each month, and he's a wealth of information too. So you got 2 great guest speakers. If you really want to know kind of the inside of how the sausage is made in Chavez County. You've got 2 of the most knowledgeable people that'll be speaking at that event next week.
Absolutely. I'd like to mention that I'm not sure exactly when our legislators are due back, but
because they wrap up this week here.
I think they do. A lot of them stay on for committees or other issues.
It might be next week for they're back in town again.
It might be. I'm not sure they're going to make it. They normally do come to our meeting, but I might mention in March we will have all of our legislators back.
Good deal.
And I will tell you, our legislators here in Chavez County have worked very hard to stay strong, to work together during this very, very difficult
Well, they're
session.
always outgunned and outnumbered every time they walk into a room in Santa Fe.
Absolutely.
That's just and so they're fighting that battle every time, and what they do for us to try to kind of hold the line in the sand, so to speak. We're so blessed to have them, and we need more of them. They need help. We hope other parts of the state hope to start putting some conservative representation in our legislature to at least get us to the middle.
we are working on a couple of the legislative seats that we are hoping can be flipped in November, and perhaps years ago, I'm sure you remember, we did take back the House years ago. And I believe we held it for one whole
one session, one year.
I think it was 2 years. Actually,
enough for one term.
one term exactly, and it was very liberating to have both sides equal, and we just don't have that.
And I mean, obviously, as Republicans, you lean and have conservative principles and values, and unfortunately, the state of New Mexico has been so liberal for so long that it's all one way or the other. And I'm telling you, if it was the reverse, where it was all conservative, that wouldn't be good either. You need a little balance there. When it comes to our legislature, when you have all voices in the room, the liberals and the conservatives, talking equally, then you're going to get good results out of that.
You're right. And years ago, I worked the session for years. We did walk across the aisle and work with the other side. I do not see that happening at all.
Right. Well, and they don't have to because the numbers aren't there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so we've got to get it to where we got to give help to our legislatures. Like you said, the ones here in Chavez County and southeast New Mexico, they're fighting these battles every legislative session.
Absolutely.
There's just not enough of them. And so we need more of the help there. And so we hope they get that rally. And so other parts of the state, we hope they start flipping and stuff too. So hopefully some of the Federated Republican women of some of the other counties are doing their part to make some headway in their respective areas.
Well, I will tell you, as president of the Chavez County Federated Republican Women, it is always my position to inform and educate our Republican voters.
Mm-hmm.
But my third goal is to keep Chavez County red.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do whatever it takes. We will walk door to door. We'll deliver literature. We'll make phone calls. We'll register people to vote.
Have done all the above already, actually.
We've done that. Work the
Absolutely.
polls.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes to keep our county red.
And by the way, the Chavez County Federated Republican Women are always looking for new members to be a part of it. Obviously, women. But men are also part of the Chavez County Federated Republican Women. They serve in more of an auxiliary capacity, but they are very much a part. So if you'd like to do it as a couple, maybe the wife is a member and then the spouse is an auxiliary member, or whatever you want to do there. But if you are interested in getting more involved, if you want to stay informed and stay up to date, it might be a good way to do it. But even if you find candidates that you like and want to get more involved in their campaigns, the Chavez County Federated Republican Women are a great conduit to help you get in touch with the various candidates, conservative candidates that line up with your values and things.
Well, thank you for that. I would like to kind of do a little bit of bragging. In 2023, Chavez County Federated Republican really had a banner year.
Nice.
And the first thing I would like to mention, there was a convention in October up in Santa Fe for the New Mexico Federation of Republican Women. And there were 7 awards given, and we received 5 of them.
Wow, y'all were cleaning up at the award ceremony. Nice.
Number one,
they got tired of hearing you getting called after a while, I bet.
I was the one going up every time.
You got some walking miles there. Her pedometer's up from walking up back and forth of the stage.
But the very first thing is we are the largest Federated Republican Women's Club in the state of New Mexico, which I think says volumes for us. We've worked it hard, and we plan to do the same again this year. We also received the Diamond Award from the National Federation of Republican Women,
all right,
which is the highest award that you can get.
Wow.
Basically for our involvement not only in the political arena, but also what we do here in Chavez County.
Absolutely. It is the Chavez, for folks that don't know, the Chavez County Federated Republican Women are a service organization as much as a political organization. When they're not, on campaigns and getting involved there, they're helping young people through education and getting them through scholarships and things. They're working with other nonprofits in the community to partner up and help out with their tentpole things, like when like Altrusa or various, other clubs that have their passion projects. The Chavez County Federated Republican Women will jump on board and help them out too if they can. That's the kind of stuff that they, when they're not, raising awareness and stumping for candidates, they're in the community helping people that need help. So.
Well, Janine is our Caring for America chair, and this Wednesday we will be delivering cupcakes, ice cream, and handmade Valentine cards to every resident at the Assurance Home.
Oh, nice.
We've also gotten notes to our handwritten notes to our military, one at Eglin Air Force Base.
Okay.
And 350 cards to Fort Benning, Georgia, which is an Army base.
Yeah.
So we do care about our community. And you mentioned a scholarship. We will be getting ready to present a scholarship this year.
Good.
To a young man or woman who is a senior in high school. And the other thing that we're doing with Gateway, 8th graders, we'll be doing a contest on patriotism.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah, we did it we've done it for 10 years very successful.
Very good. I'm just curious, what's kind of some of the stuff that you do with the kids during that? Like, do they give them like a essay or something they got to write? Or they
yes.
I'm just kind of curious what kind of things y'all do with them.
Well, we do an essay,
Okay.
and it's a 3-parted essay. The first thing that we ask them is, what is the meaning of patriotism?
Okay.
What does that mean to you? The second paragraph would be, who is the most patriotic person that you know?
Okay.
And it could be somebody that you know right now.
Sure.
It could be a past president. It could be somebody who is deceased. But who do you think is the most patriotic person, and why do you think they are the most patriotic? And then the last paragraph is, what can you as an 8th grader do to become more patriotic?
Nice.
And it's amazing the things that they came up with.
I would imagine to hear their responses is pretty, especially I love the patriotism one. That one, because to me, that's a pretty vast subject, because there's many different ways to show patriotism.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of us realize all the different ways. And sometimes it doesn't even seem like patriotism, but it really is. You know what I mean? And that's part of patriotism, is standing up for what's right. And you know, so when you see Americans standing up for American values in a form of protest, that to me is patriotism too, in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
They had some incredible ideas. Number one was always saluting the flag when we do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
And always holding your hand on your heart.
Yeah.
Putting your flag out on the 4th of July, on Memorial Day, on Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
Putting your flag out in your yard.
Yeah. Which
shows that you are a patriotic citizen. It's a way of us determining who we are.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's the thing, you know, I was in the military, and why many others have joined the military, and younger people, I mean, all people, a lot of people don't realize it, but younger, because, you know, you don't have the experience of the world in front of you. And you don't realize how wonderful this country is, and how different it is from other countries, and even countries that we would consider first world, you know, modern countries like the United States would be. You know, you go to England, you go to Australia, there are certain things that are different that you can and cannot do there. It's a freedom here, and things like that you don't realize and take for granted, you know, and that's the beauty of this country, is that freedom to choose what, even if people don't agree with it, you have the freedom to do that. And no other country on the planet allows that in the way that the United States of America does that.
Fortunately for me, I have visited other countries, and when you come home, you want to kneel down and kiss Mother Earth here in the United States of America.
Absolutely.
Because we are so very blessed in what we have.
Absolutely. And it's that patriotism, that love of country, but at the same time, the checks and balances. When people try to do things, they go, then onus is on us to stand up and say something about that. And that's part of it. And that's, you know, kind of what in the world we're living in right now is, you know, we're putting that to the test a little bit here. And so, you know, it's hard to you know, you got to, you know, when you're a patriot, you know what's right and doing what's right. And that's part of that too. And that's, I love that the kids get to think about that a little bit and put that into context a little bit, especially at that level, middle school, going into high school. They're kind of learning their way in the world, and learning, you know, more than their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. They're kind of learning a little bit about how humanity works. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we had 4 people judge these essays, and my husband offered to help. And he was absolutely amazed at the level that these young people were thinking. They were all very, very well done. We had 1 prize, 1 award. We wound up giving 4 awards because there were so many very good essays.
Well, I hope y'all make it a problem for them again this year like that. Do that, please. Make it tough, or they got to give more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I do a lot with the historical side. That's one of mine, and they do high school scholarships too. And I'm telling you, that is one of the. I'm so glad I'm not a part of it, because I mean the essays, everything are great, but it is so hard to pick, because every single one of these deserve it, in my opinion. When you read them and everything, it's like, how do I pick one better than the other? There really isn't. They're all deserving, but you got to do it.
I got the wonderful job over a long weekend just reviewing the 28 applicants and kind of whittling it down to the top 10.
Yeah.
And that was not an easy chore.
No, it's not, because they're all deserving of it.
They're all so
just
good.
like, I don't want to give them all, but it's the nature of the beast.
It is.
But please apply. Please get involved and get and come out to the next meeting here next Wednesday. Come here. Like I said, I'm telling you right now, you're going to learn a lot from Bill Williams and Chad Cole. Both of those gentlemen, they've got a wealth of information, and I think, and what I like about it is they're not elected officials, so answers from elected officials are different than answers from elected officials sometimes, and so and this is all politics. It is not Democrat, Republican. It's just politicians. That by nature, that's how they are. And sometimes when you got the people that are basically hired to do the job, you learn details that are different, and sometimes it's because the politicians don't know. I mean, the politicians, their theory, concept, but when it comes to day-to-day operations of things, that they're not, nor should they know all of that stuff. Where a guy like Chad or Bill, they're a little bit more knowledgeable about that stuff.
Absolutely.
And so they can share that with you. So when you ask a city council or a county commissioner about how something works at the wastewater treatment plant, they're probably going to give you a deer in headlights look. Where you talk to a city manager, they can explain it a little bit better to you.
Well, and I might mention, you do not have to order a meal in order to come. No. You can just come.
Although you're going to get hungry and smell it and be like, I wish I got one.
Well, that would be wonderful. we always have extra.
Yeah. But yeah, you don't have to if you don't feel obligated or you're on a diet or you still haven't blown your New Year's resolution yet. Then you don't. But then come for the. But please RSVP just so we can have a head count, enough seats for everybody. And everything.
That would be wonderful.
And but I highly recommend, especially since now Peppers is full on board as the official caterer here. You're going to want lunch. It's going to be good. It's tasty, and there's nothing harder than not eating when everyone around you's eating.
And it looks so good, Mike.
Especially if you're hungry.
It looks so. Well, I am so delighted that I was able to come and speak with you today. It's been a while since I've been here.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, we've had Janine in the last couple of times, so we missed you last few years.
Yes,
so.
I think I've had a little bit of whatever you've had.
Yeah.
And it does knock you down.
It kicks your butt and then some. I'm glad you're doing better.
Thank you.
And folks, come on out next Wednesday. Everything will be at the Roswell Convention and Civic Center, 11:30. Everything kind of gets underway there, and you'll be done by about 1.
Exactly.
With lunch, so you're back to work or wherever you're off to next. RSVP. Look for if you go find the Chaves County Federated Republican Women Facebook page.
Great.
That's a great way to shoot a message there. But if you know a Chaves County Federated Republican Women, they can take your reservation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Anytime, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mike.
Now, your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. North Washington Avenue in Roswell will be closed between 11th and 12th Streets today during the daytime as crews are removing one or more trees that are creating a potential danger to the public. If the work is finished quicker than expected, the road will be reopened earlier. Incumbent Artesia District 1 Councilmember Nacho Mariscal has announced he will run again for the seat. If elected, it would be his second consecutive term. Mariscal is a lifelong Artesia resident. He is a graduate of Artesia High School. He also attended ENMU Roswell and worked many years in the oil fields as a heavy equipment operator for Navajo Refining. A new thrift store in Artesia is operated by Victory Life Fellowship, the store located at 812 West Dallas Avenue. The store will be based on donations, and the operation will support the men's home in Artesia. Funds will also be used for general supplies needed for the program, which supplies everything from basic toiletries to food and bedding for participants. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Roswell Coyotes ventured out into Ralph Tasker country, playing at Hobbs last night, but losing 72-67 in boys basketball. That means that both teams are now 2-2 in district play. Hobbs 10-14 overall, Roswell 13-11. Next up for the Coyotes will be a trip to Carlsbad. That'll be Friday night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Roswell girls played at home against Hobbs, and I believe we've mentioned how good the Hobbs girls are. They are now 21-3 overall. 4-0 in district play after smashing the Coyotes on Roswell's home gym, 65-28. Roswell is 1-3 overall, and will be playing host to Carlsbad Friday night at 7 o'clock. Carlsbad beat Clovis last night in girls hoops, 44-43. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the Four Corners, and that gives us fair conditions today, although we have a low off to the east, so the wind could be a little bit gusty at 20 to 30 miles an hour. We're headed for the upper 60s on the afternoon high, and we get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds passing through, lows 30 to 35, and then a mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday, 65 to 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
All across America, this is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Stocks losing, inflation sparking a sell-off. January's CPI report sparking yesterday's market sell-off. All three major indexes down sharply. The Dow Jones Industrial shed more than 500 points. Technology losses dragged the NASDAQ and the broader market lower. Hopes of a late spring interest rate cut dashed by the latest inflation update. Cisco earnings today. The cyber network company plans on laying off thousands of employees. Cisco says the move is to shift its focus on growth areas. The stock's down more than 2% since the first of the year. The Kraft Heinz company reporting after the opening bell. Revenue expected down about $500 million in the third quarter. Back in November, the board approved a stock buyback worth up to $3 billion. Microsoft mixed reviews after the first run of its AI companion Copilot using the same technology OpenAI and ChatGPT use. The program's practicality in question after several employee trials. Microsoft Copilot available for a $30 monthly subscription. Please join me twice each weekday for the Lou Dobbs Business Report right here.
Business news you need to know. Keep listening for more. This is the Lou Dobbs Business Report.
Companies in the United States are 10 times more likely to be a victim of a cyber attack. Manufacturing, healthcare, retail, financial services, the leading targets. Ericsson Cyber Z Suite provides the protection you need before your data gets stolen, bank accounts get drained, and operations are at a standstill. Call Ericsson today to schedule a no-obligation consultation. That's 908-878-7717. Ericsson, ERACENT.com. 908-878-7717.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
Attention high school students and parents. ENMU Open House Spring Preview Day is Saturday, March 23rd. Future Greyhounds can get information about admission and scholarships, meet with the faculty to talk about potential majors, get a specialized campus tour, and win great prizes, including a $500 scholarship. Don't miss out on this great opportunity to experience ENMU. Sign up today at enmu.edu/openhouse. Eastern New Mexico University, student success. That's what we're about.
In the version of the Bible I'm reading, the title to Psalm 61 is this: Lead Me to the Rock. That's a great title for not only this psalm, but also for the whole book of Psalms. All are meant to lead us to the rock, our Lord God. Psalm 61 reads like this: Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. The writer of the psalm shares words of praise and hope, questioning and despair, and everything else in between. The highs and lows of emotions are written in these verses. It was the songbook of the early church, and it can be the songbook to our lives as well. Wherever you find yourself, whatever stage of life, you can find a psalm that speaks to you. Take some time to read and listen and meditate on the Psalms. One a day, a few a day, whatever you can. Listen to the words and then let them bring you comfort, strength, and then empathize with you. And ultimately, let them lead us to the rock that is our God.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Hey, Freddie Sos here with breaking news. Right now, we have over 20 new half-ton trucks currently in stock with rates as low as 1.9% for 72 months for well-qualified buyers. You won't find these rates anywhere else, so do me a favor. Tell your friends and race on in to Richland Motors, 2601 West 2nd in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Alaska is the only state name that can be typed on one row of keys. Go ahead and try typing the other 49 states. We'll wait. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. We're closing in on 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, Town Hall News up next. Stay tuned. Next hour, Don Weld will join us with the Alzheimer's Association. Give us an update what they've got going on. I'm going to get it out eventually. Town Hall News is next. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A Georgia judge is scheduled a hearing tomorrow on a motion to bar Fulton County DA Fani Willis from pursuing her election interference case against former President Trump.
A defense attorney in the case argued in a court filing last month that a romantic relationship between Willis and Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade disqualifies them both. The filing says Willis personally benefited from the prosecution when Wade paid for vacations for the pair, creating a conflict of interest. The DA has acknowledged the relationship, but has said it has no bearing on the serious criminal charges against Trump. I'm Julie Walker.
The already thin GOP majority in the House is shrinking even more. Democrat Tom Suozzi has won a special election. Suozzi defeated Republican Mazi Pilip. Suozzi will take the seat left vacant by the ouster of George Santos. House Republicans have voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas. Next will be an impeachment trial in the Democrat-controlled Senate. Dangerous, un-American. That's how President Biden described some recent remarks by former President Trump.
The president is disgusted with Trump for saying he would allow Russia to do whatever it wants to NATO member nations that he thinks aren't paying enough in defense spending.
It's dumb, it's shameful, it's dangerous, it's un-American.
He condemned the former president's remarks, saying when America gives its word, it means something.
When we make a commitment, we keep it. And NATO is a sacred commitment.
And he vowed to uphold America's commitment to the alliance. Greg Clugston, the White House.
3 Washington, D.C. police officers shot this morning apparently suffer non-life-threatening wounds. Homicides and carjackings fueling a shocking rise in violent crime in the capital city. On Wall Street, the Dow is down 7 points, while the Nasdaq trading 55 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Ukraine's military says it deployed drones to sink a Russian landing ship in the Black Sea.
We are talking about a landing ship that can carry several hundred tons of cargo, hundreds of personnel, and up to a dozen armoured vehicles. It is the most efficient way for Russian forces to move men and equipment for its southern war effort off the Ukrainian coast. And we make this the 24th Russian vessel that has been damaged or destroyed by Ukraine, which barely has a navy.
The BBC's James Waterhouse. Powerful winds have killed a man, bringing widespread destruction across Australia's second most populous state, Victoria, leaving 530,000 homes and businesses without power and fanning fires that have consumed homes and injured 5 firefighters. One official says the winds are up to 98 miles per hour across Victoria State. News and analysis, townhall.com. Labor turbulence rocks the airlines.
Flight attendants are growing frustrated with the major airlines. At O'Hare Airport in Chicago, Southwest flight attendant and union leader Corliss King says it's been a year since pilots got big pay raises.
We are not standing down any longer to substandard contracts, to substandard conditions, to substandard wages.
King says flight attendants haven't been rewarded for working through the pandemic and being responsible for passenger safety. What's the next step?
We are ready to take all available options that are afforded to us.
Last fall, flight attendants rejected a deal with Southwest. Airline strikes can be delayed or blocked by federal mediators, the president, or Congress. I'm Ed Donahue.
Thousands of ride-hailing workers are parking their cars, picketing today at major airports in what organizers say is their largest strike so far, a drive for better pay and improved benefits. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The demolition, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Valentine's Day. And happy Valentine's Day to all of you out there. I got to turn your mic on.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll just sit here talking to nobody.
Jocelyn reminded me here. You can do that. So
you got a perfectly good set of headphones right over there.
I know, but
they make my hands sweat.
They make my head hot.
Well, not anymore. You haven't tried them since you went bare floor.
I didn't shave my ears. They're the ones that get hot. There you
Mike,
go. Not all of my ears.
Maybe you should. As a man in his late 30s that already has to do so, maybe you should.
No, those hairs show up, and sometimes I get them. Sometimes I say, dude, you got a hair right here. I'm like, yeah, that one shot up overnight. I don't know where it came from. But eyebrows, ears, nose, they just come out of nowhere.
Every now and again, I'll get an extra wiry one.
Yeah.
That's like barbed wire thick.
And I'm like, where did you come from?
I know.
I didn't see you there earlier. You should literally sprung up overnight.
And where was this strength and resilience when I was trying for a middle part?
Right.
Would have loved some of that resiliency then.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Your body's just rebelling.
Not to mention now that I've shaved my head, the parts that are supposed to be bald are like the more stubbly. I was like, what?
I was going to ask, have you reached itch zone yet?
No,
not
really.
Not itchy?
I've had...
Are you lotioning?
No, I haven't lotioned. I've been shampooing.
Really?
Like I continue to shampoo like I would normally.
Okay.
Because I also shampoo my beard.
Right.
When I do that.
Yeah,
so
I do that too.
And someone told me many moons ago that even though you have no hair, you should still use shampoo up there because those soaps do better on the skin.
In the follicles,
than like your body lotion or
it's
Ivory
better
soap.
at getting into the roots and getting the dirt out and keeping the
I don't know
pores
if that's
clean.
just some hot garbage the shampoo industry told me, but
I would argue that you should.
That might be.
I would argue you should treat it like a facial wash. Like if you're, when you're washing your face, maybe just, give the dome a good scrubbing.
All right. Well, now let's pull back the curtain.
Ooh,
here.
we should get you a scrub daddy.
All right, let's pull back the curtain just for 1 second.
Okay.
I wash my face. I do not have a regime. I don't moisturize and whatever.
Do you in the shower? Do you wash your face in the shower?
Yeah.
Or so not after the fact?
I've done both, but while I'm in the shower washing things, I might as well hit the face while I'm hitting the rest of it.
Yeah.
I don't shower and then get in the out of the shower and wash my face.
Well, that's you laugh, but that's the very feminine thing to do is they go through their shower and then they get out and then they wash their face and they moisturize and they go. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't do any of that
And
nonsense.
in the metrosexual world we find ourselves in today, nowadays, you got to find yourself a good moisturizer, facial cleanser. I recently started using a sugar scrub.
Have it?
Yeah, it's good. It gets in, it exfoliates, it gets the dead skin off. Good stuff.
But in all fairness,
gotta take care of that temple, man.
That crap would have fell off anyway.
Well, yeah. Would you rather it slough off on a?
You just paid extra money to do it a day or two faster.
Would you rather it slough off while you're in line at the subway, or would you,
Now,
take
if
care of
I
it?
look like a sunburn patient and everything's falling off in front of everybody, like I'm the Elephant Man, then maybe I'm going to do something about that. But am I moisturizing every day? No.
It is a good point. You did sort of shave it all off for the sake of convenience. Why would you then
Exactly.
up your regime?
Exactly. I'm a 50-year-old man. I am
Regimen?
not winning any beauty contest anytime soon.
So I keep running short.
I am not about to go into this crazy regime for what? For marginal results. Really. I don't care if all these stupid products that make you look younger and do all this actually did what they did. We'd have a lot more of them out there.
Mhm.
And there would be a lot more people looking prettier than we see in society nowadays.
That's true. That is true.
It's all snake oil. Some it's a little more fancy snake oil, but it's snake oil. I don't buy that garbage. Yeah, it makes you feel better for a minute. I get it, moisturizing and things when you're dry, but to do it every day to tell you,
Well, okay,
I think it's a bit much.
It's seasonal for me. So like fall time, winter time, when it's drier out, I have to use some type of. I hate lotion. I will not use lotion, but like some type of moisturizer on at least my face.
And I do that too, because my hands and feet during certain times of the year, and I do
get really
use lotion
craggy.
and things. But I'm not a daily. I don't have a routine. I don't have a line of products sitting on my bathroom vanity, waiting for me to throw on me. Well, first I got to do this layer, then that layer, and then I got to go and do this. I was that kid that I got salty because I had to use that Oxy 10 pad.
Oh yeah,
because all
Dude,
kids had it. The zip, the
zip problem.
Yeah,
I lucked out so much that I did not encounter acne as a child.
Oh, I was
like my friends did. I worked in McDonald's. I figured for sure I was doomed.
you had all the proper things to make it happen.
I would get pimples, but what I did, I would oxy pad them up.
Good genes. You had good genes on that one.
I guess that's what that is.
Me, not so much.
Pretty good.
My jeans are.
Yeah, all right. They're good from Walmart.
My jeans are pop marked and cratered. But yeah, I'm just and it could be part of my time. Like when I was younger, as a younger man and trying to, I did care, I guess you could say, a little bit more, and I'd spend, more time feathering the hair and doing all the things to make ladies think I'm attractive.
Yeah, but.
None of it worked.
But you put a ring on it. I mean, you're good now.
They saw right through that nonsense.
You don't have to work at it anymore, so I respect that.
Well, it's not that I don't have to. I just think some of it's overkill. I wash. I don't smell like a turd everywhere I go.
Right.
I try to keep myself clean, but I'm not going to put thousands of dollars of products on me that really isn't making that big a difference.
Right. It is interesting the amount of different fragrances that float around this building.
Yeah.
Like if you walk out in the hallway at any given point on like a random Tuesday, you're gonna smell like Stetson coming hard from that side of the hallway, and then like some like flowery stuff coming from over here.
Brut by Fabergé.
It is, dude. There's some
all the classics.
there's some olfactory experimentation happening in this hallway.
Too bad you can't figure out the scent. Then you could call them by their name. There's Stetson Joe. There's Old Spice Bob.
Old Spice Bob. Hey, Burberry Jim, how you doing? Oh gosh, Patchouli Lou is here again. Dang it.
That's right. There's Ben Gay Dave.
Ben Gay Dave.
I like that one. Yeah.
I was trying to come up with one. Gold Bond Gary is all I could come up with, but yeah, yours, that's way better. Ben Gay Dave. How's the rash there, Dave?
I'm just saying, if you can figure out the smells, you can have a whole thing.
I need to become a master smeller.
That's right. And then, to make it extra creepy, ask them if you could smell them. might I get a whiff to see if I can identify them?
You don't ask, though. You just got to get up on it, as close to it as possible and do the
Joe
old
Biden?
Joe Biden. Yeah.
Joe Biden? All
That's right. All right, Jack. That's nice. That's real nice. What you're wearing, the scent there, it's real nice.
But you got to do the big.
Yeah.
You gotta go like and over the top it.
You can get really close and be like, I got real hairy legs.
Suck up dirt with that nose. Yep. Don Weld is patiently waiting on the Alzheimer's Association while we're introducing you to Ben Gay Dave and Stetson Bob.
Ben Gay Dave may be my new favorite character on this show.
There you go. There you go.
Who would win between him and Icy Hot Joe?
Icy Hot Joe's already got the muscle weakness.
I feel like I make a Cotton Eye Joe song with Icy Hot Joe. All right, it is 9:15. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure over the Four Corners, and that gives us fair conditions today, although we have a low off to the east, so the wind could be a little bit gusty at 20 to 30 miles an hour. We're headed for the upper 60s on the afternoon high, and we get plenty of sunshine. Overnight, a few clouds passing through, lows 30 to 35, and then a mix of sunshine and clouds coming up on Thursday, 65 to 70. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, you know what? I got to refresh my weather. This is old weather. This is better weather. Currently 41 degrees here in Roswell. I don't know about better. It's fresher. Humidity is at 65%. Winds are calm at the moment. Nice today. Expect highs in the mid-60s under sunny skies. 66 officially. West winds 5 to 10. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 30 degrees. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, another warm one. Mostly sunny. 67 for a high. Winds out of the south 5 to 10 for Thursday night. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies. Overnight low of 35 degrees. Southwest winds once again 5 to 10. Friday, sunny. 66 for a high. Northwest winds 5 to 10. Friday night, 31 for an overnight low. And then Saturday is like the redheaded stepchild of the weather days. Just sticking out like a sore thumb. Because Saturday, partly cloudy, but a high of 46. So we're going to be like 60, mid-60s today, tomorrow, Friday. Then we drop down to 46 on Saturday. But wait, there's more. Sunday, we're back up to 65 again. And then Monday, we're going to be in the 70s. So there you go. Welcome to New Mexico. So the one day you're off is going to be 46. But when you go back to work, it'll be 73. So drink that in. All right, it is 9:17. We're going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then Don Weld with the Alzheimer's Association here for Southeast New Mexico will join us. Don't go away.
So what do love and onions have in common? Well, they both can make you cry, and both are on our mind right now. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. February is a time for roses and chocolate kisses, but it's also time to plant onion. Yeah, I know, you were wondering, where is he going with this? Growing your own onions is easy and fun, and we have everything you need to get started. So when you think of love, think of onion.
Just be sure and bring along a few breath mint.
Yes, dear.
Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, and that means double your tax refund up to $2,000 right now. $1,000 get you $2,000, $1,500 get you $3,000, and $2,000, well, that gets you $4,000 towards your next vehicle at Roswell Honda, and that's on every make and model across the lot. Bring in your tax refund and let Roswell Honda double your refund up to $2,000. Now's the time to make your dollars go even further, and it all starts right here. Double Up Days are back at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
In the version of the Bible I'm reading, the title to Psalm 61 is this: Lead Me to the Rock. That's a great title for not only this psalm, but also for the whole book of Psalms. All are meant to lead us to the rock, our Lord God. Psalm 61 reads like this: Hear my cry, O God, listen to my prayer. From the end of the earth I call to you when my heart is faint. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I, for you have been my refuge, a strong tower against the enemy. The writer of the psalm shares words of praise and hope, questioning and despair, and everything else in between. The highs and lows of emotions are written in these verses. It was the songbook of the early church, and it can be the songbook to our lives as well. Wherever you find yourself, whatever stage of life, you can find a psalm that speaks to you. Take some time to read and listen and meditate on the psalms. One a day, a few a day, whatever you can. Listen to the words and then let them bring you comfort, strength, and then empathize with you. And ultimately, let them lead us to the rock that is our God.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
At Artesia General Hospital, our board-certified podiatrists are committed to providing personalized care in a welcoming environment. Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa offer the latest surgical techniques and treat a range of conditions including arthritis, bunions, joint care, and more. If you're suffering from foot, ankle, or lower leg pain, we can help. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request an appointment and begin your journey toward happier, healthier feet.
Get your tickets now for Red Zone Presents A Night with Jason Witten, coming to Artesia Saturday, April 13th. Jason Witten is an 11-time Pro Bowl selection and 2-time NFL All-Pro with the Dallas Cowboys and is currently head coach at Liberty Christian High School in Argyle, Texas. Jason is one of sports' top leaders on and off the field. Tickets are free, but you must have a ticket to enter. To get your free tickets, contact the Artesia Chamber of Commerce. This invitation courtesy of H.F. Sinclair. Excited about Jason Witten coming to Artesia.
Playing dance music can help ward off mosquitoes. Now you have a reason to invite Pitbull to your next pool party. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio now officially, Don Weld with us with the Alzheimer's Association.
Good morning,
here
Mike.
for Southeast New Mexico. Good morning. How you doing today?
I am doing really good, thank you.
Good deal. Of course, Don's on all the time, either wearing his American Legion hat or maybe a zoo hat or
Bitter
his,
Lake.
Bitter Lake hat. But today, wearing our Alzheimer's Association hat today. So
This one is from the walk last year.
This is the last year's walk.
Yeah,
Here,
I got 23 on the back.
which
there.
was a nice one. I mean, they're all great, but that was a nice one because it was the first time back on the courthouse lawn. It kind of the first one since pre-COVID, where it was more like what most people come to expect from a walk to end Alzheimer's.
Right,
kind of
out
thing.
there on Main where we're exposed to everybody.
Yeah.
Say hi as we walk by. And,
And it's because it's great turnout because, when you're down there on the courthouse lawn, and that's the heart of downtown.
That's right.
People are busy going up and down, especially on a Saturday morning. They're out getting breakfast or running their errands or, doing what they got, getting kids to sports practice or whatever it is. And they all pass that courthouse lawn and they see a bunch of people walk around with purple T-shirts on. They're like, what's going on over there? And it raises that awareness. And then they get in there. It's like, oh, this is for Alzheimer's. My grandmother had Alzheimer's, or so-and-so has Alzheimer's. And we make a little awareness and hopefully two things. One's raise money because that's the idea. That's the big thing. But the other big part of this is to be a support for families dealing with Alzheimer's.
That's our biggest thing is that we want to be there to help people.
Yeah, so the awareness is there to raise that money so we can beat this thing and find a cure for it.
Right.
But at the same time, to also tell people, hey, a lot of people are dealing with Alzheimer's. There is help for you out there right here in your local community.
That's right.
Reach out to these support groups. Let the Alzheimer's Association help you find what you need to help you navigate through this situation.
That's right. And we're there the big thing, like you're saying, is we're there for those caregivers.
Yeah.
That have a parent or a
because really and this is the thing with that disease is, yes, the patient obviously is going through a lot, but this is one of those diseases where the caregivers, which are many times family members themselves,
right,
are their whole life is completely upside down because they've got to stop their lives pretty much to do full-time care for their family member, and that's a lot to ask for somebody.
It is,
physically, emotionally, and everything else, and that's where you come in and support and say, hey, I've walked in these shoes, I've been where you've been, let me help you deal with this, process this. Maybe there's resources we can get you in touch with to make this a little bit easier for you.
Our director in this area, Kim Ryan, is going through that right now with her mother.
Yeah.
And in fact, she, as I understand it, is at the hospital right now.
As we speak.
As we speak.
Yeah. We're praying for her and her family. And
yes.
We give them strength and hope they this scenario that they're going through is peaceful and as pleasant as one could possibly be in a situation
right.
like this. Yeah.
All right. And, that's all we can do.
Yeah. And that's just it.
She understands that, so she's going to be out there helping others.
And the caretakers need their own care and support.
Yes.
And that's what the Alzheimer's Association say here. No one's looking out for you. Let us help look out for you a little bit here.
And we will have coming up, and I'm sorry, I don't have the date on it, but we will be having a get-together for caregivers.
Okay.
And a little talk about
reception and
how do you handle
resources?
It? How do you resources for it? What do you need? What can we help you with?
Good deal.
So.
Well, as soon as we get dates and all that cement down, we'll definitely get you back on, and we'll get the word out and tell everybody.
Yeah.
Here. But it's one of these things, and the cool part about, at least in my lifetime, we're seeing so much progress with Alzheimer's. I feel like of all the big tentpole diseases and things that we hope to find cures for one day, like the one I feel the most hopeful for that I may get to see before I leave this earth is the Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
I feel like
I would love to see that.
I feel like that's the one I'm going to see before my time on this earth is done. And like cancer and all that, we're making great progress. But to be honest, I don't think, my time on earth, I'm going to see someone say I'm cured of cancer. I mean, I hope I'm wrong.
I am.
You know what I mean? But like you take a pill and cancer goes away, or
right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's treated that way, and I hope I'm wrong. But to me, I think of all of those, like Alzheimer's I feel like we're the closest to where like we've almost got this figured out. It's been a crazy rascal and a slippery devil, but you know what? I think we're starting to get it by its tail, and we're starting to make some progress on seeing real. There's been so much progress in the ability to give a person that's been diagnosed with it a much longer quality of life.
Yes.
They've made great strides in there, and
we
very
have done
close
to
making it to where it's now reversible, and we're seeing where you can come back to being...
What they say in cancer is in remission.
Yeah.
I would like to see in remission for Alzheimer's.
That would be an amazing thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the one I got the shot at seeing before my time is done. So
I would like to see that too.
I think we're at the last push. Keep donating, keep supporting, keep getting involved. Come out, back in the fall again when we're out in our purple and walking around in the courthouse lawn. We want to get more groups, more people. I would love it to be a problem where we're all kind of bumping into each other out of here because there's so many of us walking.
Too much.
We need a little bit more room. That would be a good problem to have.
That would be. Speaking of calendar, that I think I can give you.
Okay.
Come on, get
Usually
out of
it's
the
around
way.
October time frame. If I remember right.
Actually, we're going November 2nd.
Okay, so we're going
just like last year,
very
the
good.
same weekend as last year.
So November 2nd. So
November
right after the
2nd.
Halloween week holiday.
There. I've got it down at 5:30 in the morning. That's
I'll
me.
Be there at 5:30.
Yeah,
none of y'all have to be there at 5:30.
It will be. It will be 10 o'clock usually is what we do. We
kind of
start
start
gathering
with the opening ceremony.
9:30. You start gathering up. 10 o'clock we open ceremony and so on. That kind of a thing. Details are still being worked out. But
and as always, we want to invite everyone to come out.
Yes.
But if you have people fighting, we'd love to see them so we can honor them.
Yes.
If your caregivers also fighting, we want you out there too, so we can celebrate with you and love on you.
Yep.
And if your family have lost members to Alzheimer's, we want to come and grieve with you. We want you to come out if you can, if you're up for it, and share with us your experiences and sharing your time, so we can all, and be honest. The folks that have lost people, there's people that are fighting it that could use your help.
Yep.
And
they want your experience.
If you are able and in a good place to do that, we would love to see you come out and support, either to remember and celebrate your loved ones, but also to help the families that are currently fighting this fight right now.
Right.
So
right.
It would be great to make some time to come out and be a part of it.
This is a good day for showing the love.
Absolutely.
Valentine's Day, you show your love for, if you know of somebody who's a caregiver, show your love for that person.
Absolutely.
And the caregivers, show your love especially for your loved one who is suffering through this disease.
I pray they're having a good day, and because that's the thing with this disease is there's good days and bad days.
That's right.
I hope it's a good day for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the nature of the disease sometimes.
It is.
Yeah.
And I went through that myself for about 9 years.
Yeah.
And like you said, good days, bad days, but you tend to set the bad days aside and remember those good days.
Good. Because I imagine, and that's the key.
That's the idea.
It's remember them when they were, and when they're in those moments when they are more like themselves.
Right.
Because what you're seeing outside of that is not really them.
No.
It's the disease causing that to happen.
Right.
What they truly feel, what they love, what they value, when they're in those moments of lucid and talk, that's what they feel.
That's
the
right.
rest is a symptom of the disease and nothing more. And I know it's hard to mentally compartmentalize it that way, but you as the caregiver and loved ones have to do that. You have to understand, have this person not be afflicted with this, they would have never said or done the things that may upset you.
That's right.
And I know it's hard, especially because most times the person you're dealing with is a mentor. Maybe it's a spouse, but it's certainly, it's a mom or a spouse, someone that you value their opinion of you. And it hurts a little harder when they say it, but you got to understand they do not realize that's what they don't realize who you are. In their head, there's a whole different scenario going on.
Yep.
And they're dealing with that. And I know it's hard to not take it personally. I know it's, but that's where that's where the support comes in. It's
that's
like,
right.
Look, that's not them. That's Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Them is what you heard last night when they were loving and telling you a story and talking about something that happened 10 years ago that was a great memory for them. That's the loved one that you love.
10, 15, 20 years ago sometimes.
Exactly. That's the one you loved. And that's why this disease sucks so bad, because of that aspect.
Yeah.
So, but there's support there. Please reach out. And for, if you're a family right now in this area and you're dealing with Alzheimer's and stuff and you're not aware, the Alzheimer's organization, your association,
the little card.
Yeah, the whole card. Please reach out. You can call the 800 number. 800-272-3900. That's a 24/7 helpline. You can call and reach to you here. But don't hesitate to go on Facebook and reach out to the local Alzheimer's Association for Southeast New Mexico. Let them give you some resources, help out. But if there's something serious, emergency, obviously 911 if it's medical and that stuff.
Sure.
But if it's a crisis situation and you can't deal with navigating it, 1-800-272-3900 is the 24/7 Alzheimer's Association hotline to help you navigate.
That's a national.
Whatever. Yeah, it's 24/7. So if it's 2 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, it's available to you.
Right.
So.
And I'll tell you what, there are times when that 3 in the morning came up too.
I would have guessed it does.
Yeah.
They don't go by schedules.
No, they don't.
And when you're sleeping and things, that's when the brain's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine that's when some of these episodes do occur. So.
Yep.
You know, just because you're sleeping doesn't mean your brain's not. It's
No,
busy doing getting you ready for the next day kind of stuff.
That's
Should
right.
be.
Cleaning out the garbage and
So it does
getting
make
ready
sense.
to go.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
That goes there. Folks, also donating. If you'd like to donate, if you go to the website, they have a donate now button there, or through Facebook. If you know a member, you can get a form. We've got some donation forms here if you'd like to donate. But any amounts is great, and all of it goes back to the Alzheimer's and servicing either the families that are in need or going to the medical research that is required to solve this puppy.
Most charities have a portion of donations set aside for administrative. Alzheimer's is actually pretty low.
It's one of the lower
ones.
Not a lot of paid employees for the Alzheimer's
No,
Association.
it's mostly volunteer. We do have paid. Kim is a paid employee.
You need one or two because it is a full-time job and to do some of the things that are required and they need to live and eat, so you have to pay them. Otherwise, they have to get another job and they don't have time to do their full-time job as a volunteer. So there is a necessary.
And their importance is to get volunteers to do all of these other things.
They earn that probably small paycheck they do get for for being.
It's not a lot. It's
put it this way: people that work especially at the ground level in a nonprofit, they're not making.
Yeah,
they're not. They're not making CEO money or any of that kind of stuff. They're literally feeding hand to mouth with the money that's going on there. So it's very tight window on that budget.
But they do it out of love.
Exactly. Yeah, the people that are doing it, like you said, Kim, of course, she has personal experience in this world, so it's a little bit more personal for her than maybe some other people do. But I'm going to guess most of the people that are actually paid staff of the Alzheimer's are probably in that same situation. They were brought to Alzheimer's because a family member has gone through.
They have either gone through it or are going through that situation with a family member some way.
And for some folks, I imagine that's a good thing because, depending on how brains are and people are, when you deal with trauma or high stressful scenarios, some people react better by diving into the work and getting busy. It's like, I can't, if I stop, I'll start thinking and getting emotional.
Yep.
I got to put that aside and focus on the task at hand. And so they're using their, mourning, for lack of a better term, and channeling that into trying to
energy for.
Yeah. They're like, I'm going to solve a problem.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this so someone else have to. And so they get that mindset.
That's right.
And that's a powerful thing.
It is
when it's aimed at a noble cause.
That's
and
right.
What we got going on.
You got to believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you'd like to donate $1, $2, $1,000, whatever you can afford, we'd be very grateful. Please, and for if you need help, please reach out.
Yeah, and like you said, go to the alz.org.
Yeah,
and you can direct from there any place you want to go. You can donate right there, or you can find your local walk, which this would be the Roswell Walk.
Yeah.
You can look that one up on that.
And it's not too early to start signing up teams.
That's right.
And
we want to
organize and all that now.
Yep.
I know the event's not till November, but
we will be working on
that's kind
this.
of the I wouldn't say fun day, but that's the celebration day.
That's the celebration.
All the work's done on
there
that
you
day.
go.
It's just a matter of going through it. The real work is leading up to the event, raising the money.
Between now and that walk date, we're going to be out there trying to get people to join, to help, to keep things going. That's another thing. If you want to volunteer and help out, either call Kim or me. You can call me.
Always looking for folks to get involved in way, shape, or form.
I'm out there doing all this kind of stuff anyway.
It's a lot of logistics.
It is.
And got to get water to places and tables and chairs set up. And arrangements made and event spaces procured. All that stuff takes volunteers to get all that done.
It does. And that's another form of donation. If you don't have the money, but you have something we might be able to use.
Time is as valuable as money in a situation like this.
So you're donating your time.
Absolutely.
That's a part of it.
Yep. And if I would even, maybe you have families with the younger, teenage or kids that are kind of learning their way in the world. These are the kind of things that are great to get them involved with,
right.
to show them, especially, if you're, as a family, you're living pretty well, you're doing your thing, you're making your money, your kids are well, everyone's well and fed, and you're doing, you're living the life like you're supposed to.
Right.
Sometimes you need to teach those kids that not everybody has it.
That's right.
That same scenario, and you got to teach them that server's heart a little bit. And seeing people with shoe on the other foot would be a good eye opener for kids to get involved in doing this. So when they are adults and families, they're the ones that are volunteering for these organizations and having the passion. And it does start at that level. If you get your kids to have kind of that server's heart and always wanting to help in things, that will rub off, and that will kind of translate in their adulthood.
Right. Yeah, and these kids need. How many kids see grandma, or granddad, and suddenly grandma and granddad are just
maybe
not
it helps
quite
them
the
understand
same.
it a little better if they're dealing. Like if you have a family member that's going through and sometimes kids don't quite understand what's really going on there, even at teenager level.
So you got to talk to them, and let them know this is what's happening.
Yeah, let them see. Obviously, you protect your kids from certain things and all that, but this is a way to kind of show them, hey, there are things that are wrong in this world, and this is what we try to do to fix them and try to help people.
This is how we're trying to keep the world better.
Unfortunately, we're not going to solve every problem, but we got to keep trying.
That's right.
And sometimes it's a hard lesson to learn, but it's a lesson that they do need to learn at some point to survive as an adult in this world. It's just what's needed. And so get them involved, have them come out to these walks and make fun with it. Make it so it's a celebratory thing where they're coming out and help water. Make a big deal that they're helping people. Make them feel good that they're making an impact positively in these people's lives. It's kind of like I always tell, like when you train pets, and please don't take the pet kid comparison to heart like that. But like when they tell you when you train a dog to teach it a skill and like say be potty trained or something, when they do it correctly, you go over the top praising them to cement it. I think kids are kind of the same way a little bit like that. When they do something that is over the top good like that, you need to
reinforce it.
Yeah, and reinforce it. And so make them feel like a rock star because they came out and handed out water or whatever they did that was good for the community. That will cement that they're going to continue to be helpful people the rest of their lives.
That's right. We got to do that more and more.
Yeah.
The more kids we can get involved in these kinds of things, Alzheimer's, yes, but other things as well. Bitter Lake, the zoo,
absolutely. Pick your passion, whatever it is, and there is so. I mean, and I say this all the time, and I know it sounds hokey, but it really is true. We have roughly 50,000 people in here.
Yep.
If everyone in this community just picked their one passion and got involved with it, I don't care if it's youth soccer or Alzheimer's or the smallest to the largest nonprofit group that's doing something in our community. Get involved with it and pick your passion. Just pick one. You don't have to be dumb like Don and I and doing 7 of them. Pick your one and get involved with it. And if everybody did that, I guarantee we'd be in a lot better shape with a lot of this.
You know it.
Whether it's youth soccer or sports with youth or whether it's
homeless.
Homeless or dealing with crime and stuff. I mean, all of these things are issues that need to be addressed. And if you're waiting for the government to do these things, you're going to be waiting forever. The onus to make our community better is on us, not your government, not your mayor, not your city council. We elect them to make good decisions, but if you want a community that's great, it's on us. If you want to see a thing happening, it's on you to do that.
That's the thing about this country is that we do encourage volunteering and getting involved.
Absolutely.
We that's part of our nature, part of our culture as American citizens.
Absolutely.
Is to get out there and do something like you're saying, whatever it is.
Whatever your passion is, wherever your love takes you. Even if it's something like art clubs and things that, aren't emergency situation, but promotes community and promotes, if it's painting, if it's whatever, use that as the tent pole to make our community better. That's what I love. Pick that passion, whatever it is you love,
and go
run
after
with it
it
as a community.
That's right. Build it up.
So I know I'm soapboxy this morning, but
yeah, why not? Let's get everybody out there. Come on.
But if you and if you are in need of resources here through the Alzheimer's Association, you're new to town and maybe looking to connect with the local Alzheimer's here, or maybe you've just been diagnosed. Someone in your family's been diagnosed, and you're kind of in the weeds trying to figure out what to do next here.
Yep.
Please reach out. And trust me, you will be surprised at how much wealth and experience of information you will find because pretty much every person that's wearing a purple shirt and volunteering, they've been sitting in the shoes that you're sitting in maybe not every one of them, but majority of them have been there, done that, what you're doing right now.
Some relationship to an Alzheimer's victim.
Absolutely. And they can help you deal with this process.
And I say victim because you actually, Alzheimer's victimizes at least two people.
You're right.
The one who actually has the disease and the one who has to take care of them.
It is. It's literally a team destroying effort.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's sad, but that's kind of the what we're dealing with on this.
That's right.
So please, and if families out there, please reach out. I feel so bad that you're struggling through this, and what can we do to make it a little bit better for you?
That's our whole purpose here.
Yeah. What can we do to navigate through this?
Talk to us. Let us know.
We hope to God none of us ever have to be in this situation, but it's the crapshoot. Your number comes up, and there it is.
There we are.
Happens.
We're going to take care of you, though. We'll do what we can to help you out.
And keep supporting, because you know what? One day we're going to be like, you got Alzheimer's, but guess what? We can fix this. We caught it early. We can get you. We're going to have a remission for you.
That's right.
We're that close to doing this. So keep supporting. If you've got disposable income, dump it into this thing. Let's push this over the line.
Right.
And if you only got $1, then please donate it. And if all you got is time, then we would love that. Is
give
just
us a
as
call.
much or more valuable than those dollars.
Sometimes. Yep. We got work for you. We got things we can do.
We do live in a society where, yes, we have people that, I can give you money to help that. I will do that. And that's a good thing. We want to keep that going.
That's right.
However, the real need sometimes is we need the bodies. We need the people to be turning the key and making a difference and doing the boots on the ground work and some of that kind of stuff. So please, if that's what's in your heart, please get out there and do that too. But we do appreciate the finance. But I know we do have a lot of people that here's $1,000, go away, and yes, good, but do more.
It helps,
but it does help. But
we would like to have you out there.
So keep doing that,
walking the walk and talking the talk.
We do want to see people, out there, wearing the purple shirts and raising the awareness and coming out and what'd be really cool is we have a remission celebration and once a year we have a picnic out in the park and all these families that are in remission come out and we have a big potluck cookout or something.
There you go.
That's something
I would love to see that.
That's something I think our future could have here. But to get there, we gotta step up right now. So please.
They call that the white flower.
Yes, we need our white flower cookout.
There you go. And we would love to see that. That would be. It might be end my need to be in this, but I would love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, and that's because, obviously for folks like yourself, you've struggled with your own personal life with this stuff. And,
right.
And for you, this is, your win is to see someone else victory from what you went through.
That's right.
That would be, unfortunately your loved one wasn't, we didn't get there in time.
No.
But there's a chance, and we can, and if you in your lifetime get to see someone that walks away from this, I imagine for you personally that feels like a full circle moment. Like I finally, because I know you and your volunteering work and how much you've gotten into all this, and I think for you personally, I think would be a bigger, like I just imagine that would be. Like if
it'd be a triumph.
That happens and you left the earth tomorrow, you'd be like, I'm a happy man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Did it.
It's like victory's done. I can go now.
That's right.
I feel like, I'm not saying you should, but I'm just saying I think that's where your head's at. Like if they walked in today and said that's what I'm good. You know,
God's got so much for me to do.
Yeah.
That I'm never going to die. You're
too busy to die.
That's right. I got too much to do.
But,
so I'll just keep going and doing things and supporting things like Alzheimer's.
And this is something, and I'm going to brag on Don a bit, and I do it. Folks that don't realize that Don Weld is a guy that Roswell is a much better community because of a gentleman like Don Weld. He is. I work with him in multiple things. Him and I also are Legionnaires together in American Legion Post 61. So him and I kind of bumping each other a lot of things here. But when he's he's you're retired now, and your life is service.
That's
you
right.
literally when he's not doing American Legion, then he's helping out with the Alzheimer's. When that's not going on, he's out at Bitter Lake doing projects. When that's not going on, he's sitting in a zoo board meeting or doing some of that. It's always
driving the veterans.
Yeah, when it's not that, he's driving veterans to Albuquerque or Lubbock or whatever.
Yeah.
Don spends every one of his days serving the community, and we are so blessed to have a guy like Don here in our community. And you're in the room, but I'm like, city councilors, anybody listening and looking for special awards for people? Point at Don Weld. Yeah, here's a good candidate here.
Yeah,
but no, I
appreciate
thank you. Really,
that,
thank you, because I know, because you're that guy, and I don't care what people talk and people do. Say what you want about Don. Don's the guy that says, I'm going to roll up my sleeves and going to do something to help. Forget all the nonsense. Forget all the who, what, and who begat who and what and this. We got a job to do. Let's get it done.
That's right.
And that's the mindset that Don comes in, and he makes so many blessings happen to people in this community just because of that effort. He's the busiest retired man I know.
Yeah, my job when I worked was considered a 24/7 job. I was always on call.
So you kind of,
but you know what?
Don't know what to do with yourself.
That's
when,
right.
When
That's
quiet.
what happened when I got retired. I says, now what am I going to do? So I started.
So did you annoy your wife like when you were idle? Like if you're at home on a weekend with a day off, she's like, for the love of God, Don, will you please do something? You're driving me crazy.
She was already passed before.
Oh, okay.
So, and that was another reason, because I had no one else. I says, okay, I got to do things for other people.
Sure.
After
for your own probably mental health.
Yeah, for my mental health is nothing else. And I work harder now than I did when I was working.
Yeah. Now,
but I love it. I do it out of love for people.
But what I love about Don too, when he's not busting his hump, he does take care and live life, because he's a world traveler. Every year he's going to different parts of the world and seeing it. So I love that. And guess what? He turns that into a community thing too. Usually comes back and shares his experiences at the library or someplace. He turns even his vacations into a service opportunity.
going to Vietnam this year.
That's your next destination.
Yeah, in the fall.
Have you ever been?
No.
Okay.
Well, I missed by.
I was about to say, did you go by choice or not choice?
I almost did.
You just
missed. Yeah, I was in the hospital.
Yeah, my dad missed the window. He was. He actually joined the Air Force, and so he missed the draft there. But he kind of he went in the Air Force before the draft thing happened. So he kind of beat him to the punch. He said, rather than Don's a Marine, so he's gonna laugh when I say this. Rather than him joining the Marines, he said, he said, I'm gonna go get the Air Force.
Smart. I'll guarantee you that was probably the best 4 years of education I ever had.
That's just it. And I'll say this too. We joke about military and all of this stuff and all that, but the United States Air Force made a man out of me, and I don't care what anybody says. My parents did a great job raising me. I did bonehead things because that's what we do.
That's what kids do.
But that transition from kid to adult, the United States military was that for me.
It made me grow up.
It taught me to be a responsible individual.
Yep.
And yes, I did some of the dumbest things in my life in the military, but I also did some of the coolest things in my life in the military. And that's and at the end of the day, you do the work, and the work sucks sometimes and all that. But the people, to be honest, that's the part I take most from it. I made some connections with people that to this day I still, we don't hang out all the time because we live all over the place.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're on Facebook chit-chatting, or we're always staying in touch, staying connected. And that's my biggest thankful part of the military is the experiences and the people I met, because that was the cool part. So,
it really was.
And
unfortunately, all the guys that I was in the service with have, well, I'm probably one of the very last.
I was going to say that's the problem is the older we get, the less of them that happen.
That's right.
And then when these reunions happen every year, there's less and less of them, and that's the part that hurts. But those I still would not trade that for the relationships I made and all that, because I'm a better person because of the people I met and hung out with in my time in the military.
Yeah.
And we always joke in the work, and there's days that suck, that they make you do things. You're like, what? Who did I piss off? Why am I doing?
Why am I digging this hole and then filling it up again?
Right. When I was telling about painting rocks for no reason, he couldn't wrap his head around it. I was like, that's what you do.
That's right. Sometimes it is.
Yeah. But you do it together, and it builds a bond. It builds a kinship, and that's why, when those moments that hit the fan, when you're in the foxhole together and you're relying on that, watching each other's back, there's a bond that develops that you cannot recreate in any other environment, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's just, it's law enforcement, first responders, they deal with the same thing. It's when you're in a life or death, stressful, high intensity situation, and the only way you know that you might get through this is because the person standing next to you is standing next to you. That changes how you think about people.
That's right.
It just doesn't. And it's all for, like, granted, I was in the Air Force and I turned wrenches and moved bombs. I wasn't sitting in a foxhole, but I did things that were of the moment, life and death. And I did load a plane that got shot down, and the pilot didn't come back. He came back alive, but he didn't come back with the plane. He was shot down and recovered. And and that's moments like that you realize, okay, what we're doing is real. This is I was a part of the stealth fighter that got shot down in Kosovo. I had armed the bombs on that jet before it took off. And I got word when the pilot didn't come back. And the cool part about that is when they recovered the pilot, they brought him back, and I got to hear the story. I got to see the moment. And this is the coolest part that I take with me in all of my military experience. It just kind of sticks with me. The moment that pilot got back to Aviano Air Base in Italy, we came back to the flight line there. And I'm good friends till this day still with the crew chief of that gentleman named Bart. And he was the crew chief of that jet. And his assistant crew chief was a female. And before the flight, she had asked the pilot to carry an American flag with him that she was going to get back. And then she gives to a loved one as this flag flew during a combat mission. And it was done at the last minute. So normally they'll tuck it in the nose well or put it in some place in the plane and they'll put it out after the flight. Well, because of this last minute, the pilot grabbed it and stuck it in his flight suit, zipped it up, and then went on his mission. But when they brought him back to the base, they come back, he's with the guys, walks up to Bart and that crew chief, unzips the coat, pulls the flag out, and hands it to her. It's one of the coolest moments in my life I've ever experienced, and that was one of those deals. It kind of hit me. That one hit me. That one hit me a little different.
Yeah.
So, but that's military, and that's why the people are the way they are, and what happens the way it happens. All that good stuff. Don, we're about out of time. Is there anything we wanted to cover that we just got spaced on, or anything we wanted to we got sidetracked on? That happens.
I know. Well, when you think about it, though, everything that you're talking about actually comes right back to the Alzheimer's.
That's right. Love and support. And going through difficult times.
That's right.
And building the strength that comes with going through those moments.
That's right. And that's what it's all about.
So if you are going through those, reach out. Let the Alzheimer's Association help you navigate through this process. And if you'd like to help, volunteer, donate, all of the above.
Come out and see us.
Come out, get your purple on, and we'll go out there and raise the roof with purple and let's beat this cancer, this whole disease. Let's just beat it. And we're not talking about Alzheimer's anymore. It's kind of like polio.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Alzheimer's like we're talking about polio.
That's
what I want to do.
There you go.
Good deal. Well, thank you, Don, as always. And
thank you, Mike.
We'll see you next
for
time.
everything.
Yeah, thank you for all your work.
I think I'll see you next week, in fact.
Yeah, I don't know. I see you all the time, so maybe I'll see you. It's at 9:58. Quick break before the kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
The Artesia Arts Council presents Mr. Ho's Orchestratica, Thursday, February 15th at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center. Percussionist Brian O'Neill leads a team of 5 musical creators. Mr. Ho's Orchestratica renders O'Neill's original compositions and curious arrangements of Bach, Gershwin, Shostakovich, and John Adams into cinematic layered music for armchair travelers ready to journey off-road. Tickets on sale now at artesiaartscouncil.com. Don't miss Mr. Ho's Orchestratica, Thursday, February 15th at the Ocotillo Performing Arts Center. Ad paid for by Artesia Lodgers Tax.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
We can all use help strengthening our marriage to build this house. Church on the Move invites you to the Joy of Marriage Conference, a 3-day event for married couples. Hear speakers Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman, American Idol finalist Danny Goki and his wife Leah Sett, as well as Willie and Rachel Scott, founders of Better Than Blended. February 15th through the 17th at Church on the Move in Roswell. Seats are limited. Visit cotmroswell.com or call the church office 575-622-7011.
Pecos Valley Production is excited to announce their online ordering has never been easier because now you can order from PVP online in Spanish. Simply head for pecosvalleyproduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of your screen from English to Spanish. Now it's never been easier to get access to the healing and calming products you need simply and affordably. Just log on to pecosvalleyproduction.com and switch the tab on the bottom left of the screen from English to Spanish. Pecos Valley Production. Dairy to dank since 2016. Must be 21 or over with valid ID to purchase.
People to stay far from the area. This is a developing story. The U.S. House has voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the Biden administration's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border. The Republican majority was determined to try again to impeach Mayorkas after having failed last week. House Homeland Security Committee Chairman Mark Green.
This is the culmination of nearly a year's worth of investigations and hearings. Was necessary to deal with a rogue DHS secretary whose lawless actions have caused and perpetuated one of the worst border crisis in American history, a border crisis that has devastated communities all across our country.
Tuesday evening's vote was tight. There was staunch Democratic opposition. New York Democrat Tom Suozzi has won a special election for the House seat formerly held by George Santos. Suozzi defeated Republican Mazi Philip. Also at townhall.com, about half of Americans think that President Biden got off easy in the classified documents investigation. White House correspondent Greg Clugston has more.
A new Reuters Ipsos poll shows that 53% of Americans agree with the statement that Biden received special treatment because he is the president. Last week, federal prosecutors announced they would not prosecute him for mishandling classified documents. Nearly half of respondents said they were somewhat familiar with the special counsel's description of the 81-year-old president as an elderly man with a poor memory. Greg Clugston, the White House.
And on Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is down 15 points, but the NASDAQ ahead 48. More at townhall.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you